I think. So, like I was saying, in the Bible, there's 5 verses that talk about that a husband should enjoy his wife's breasts. Like, it's actually in the Bible.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, hey, wait, we're live. We're live. Well, that's
you
cool.
guys are live, everyone.
It's okay though. It's in the Bible. It really does say that. Does it not say that, Jim?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's right. See? There you go. For good things.
Song of Solomon.
And I like everybody to know that Renee is more than just cleavage. I heard you got a shout out on a video about that.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
But it's true. That was one of your badass moments.
Yeah, I also yell at people.
Well, people that deserve it. If you guys haven't ever seen this, Renee has a channel, and if you look at the channel, we had all been up like for hours, and I think I was sick still with a abscess tooth of all things, and I was on drugs, and I had just had surgery, I believe, right then. And
you could have just left it. You didn't have to put the surgery part in. It would have been cool if you just said I was on drugs.
I was on drugs, man. And so I was completely out of it, and like, and you can hear it kind of in me. And yeah. So on Renee's channel, there is a episode of the Squeeze Box where we'd all been up pretty late into the morning, and lo and behold, a drunken lyrical comes in and starts talking smack. And at first we all kind of start to go simmer down, and then eventually the gloves are off, and freaking Renee went Tiger Mama. That's what I call it, Tiger Mama.
Yeah, I've been called worse. I'll take Tiger Mama.
There's some book called that, Tiger Mom something. I don't know.
Oh, is there? I have to look it up.
But
I've got the flu, Deidre.
Is it the flu or the cold?
I don't know. I caught some kind of space AIDS on the plane or something.
Well, space AIDS is no good.
Yeah. Well.
Did the Jews give it to you?
You know what? Didn't they do most of it?
Well, we were talking about the space Jews from the Spirit Science video. I figured.
Right, it fit together perfect.
I know. It works. It must be true.
If it's on the internet.
Spirit Science.
It has to be true if it's on the internet. It's illegal to lie on the internet. And I know this because the internet told me.
Hey Jim, say something in live chat if you're able to. Are you on a phone? If you're
Yes, I am on a phone.
Oh, I was gonna give you a spanner.
Well, hang on. Let me switch it. Oh, wait, no. I can't. I deleted the app because I took. I'm not watching YouTube videos during Lent.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, Prudent and Renee, if you say something in live chat, I will actually give you both spanners.
Can I say penis?
You can say that as much as you'd like.
Nice.
Does it make you happy?
No, not really.
Okay. Just checking. So, I'm going to start the conversation, and we're going to interview Renee.
Oh no, it's cool. I'm pretty good and doped up. Let's go. What do you want to know?
So, like, we're like best buds, and so we talk a lot. And you had the most interesting trip to Scotland. You were thwarted by many enemies, and you overcame. How many planes and trains and hotels and stuff did you guys have to like do a redo on?
Let's see. It was redo or okay. Wait. There were 2 stayovers, different hotels. The flight, I don't even know how many times it was rescheduled and stuff. But basically, like, we were sandwiched between 2 snowstorms and just managed to kind of wedge our way through all the way. So things were closing down in front of us, like our initial flights were closing down like crazy, and then the ones behind us, and we just managed to squeeze all the way home. But there were crazy delays and stuff, and yeah. Anyways, home now.
So I think you were delayed a full day overnight on one flight.
Yeah, on one of them. Because the first one was completely canceled. So I got a hotel room on that. And then we spent a couple of days in Edinburgh.
Tell us about the great first hotel that you stayed in.
I do not recommend their the Pizza Hut delivery. No, I mean it wasn't too bad. I was really lucky, and I was fortunate enough to have the cash and stuff to be able to grab a room. And it sure beats sleeping. Have you ever slept in an airport overnight before?
Oh, I have. I've slept
Yeah,
there.
absolutely miserable.
Just
It's so
recently.
much better.
I don't know. The thing is, I can pretty much adapt to like anything when it comes to sleeping. If I have to sleep like in the weirdest position, I'll do it.
I worry more about watching all of your bags and stuff. Well,
Sleep on the
trying to sleep.
bags, make sure, and because I'm a pretty light sleeper, if someone tries to steal
Oh, yeah.
something from me, I will absolutely wake up.
I had to sleep in the Chicago airport last time, but
Ooh,
this time
O'Hare or Midway?
huh?
O'Hare or Midway?
O'Hare.
Oh God.
Yeah, right.
You've had some of the weirdest, like roughest trips. Maybe it's the time of year you travel in.
No, I think I'm cursed.
You ever try to change planes at O'Hare? That's like one of the hardest tasks to do.
Well, because we use that to as our international airport over to but this last time, okay, so they put us in the business lounge because they left us on the runway for like an hour, and then so we missed our flight. And they set us up in the business lounge for like 4 hours, and I'm just sitting there the whole time going, please, 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 y'all just handed the Scotsman free whiskey. You know, do not let him be too drunk to get on the plane. But it all worked out.
Gotcha beat. I got stranded in Dubai for 3 days.
Oh yeah, no, that would be brutal.
Oh, it sucked.
I didn't get locked up by customs this time, so that was
Oh my
pretty great.
gosh! Yeah, the other time you were like held up. How many hours?
I think I spent about 13 hours locked up by customs.
Apparently, really tall women with red hair are like on their watch list.
What were you smuggling?
Okay, so I was exhausted and stuff, and actually, Annabelle had helped me out with my ticket on that one. So it was in my name, but it was purchased by anyways. And he's like, I don't have any friends that would help me out with the ticket. This is awfully suspect, and I'm exhausted. And I say, well, that's unfortunate. Apparently, I do. And the next thing I know, my sarcastic ass is bounced to this room, and I'm locked up there until shift change.
That's if it wasn't so horrible, it'd be kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have learned to shut up and lots of yes sirs on my way through this time.
Yeah, they don't like snark. They'll just punish you for it.
But you know what?
I'm always tempted to.
I was just exhausted. It wasn't even meant to snark. I was like, well, sorry about your luck, son. Apparently, I do. And then I'm going, oh, okay. And British sense of humor, anyway, about it. Like I don't know. It didn't go over well.
My issue is that since I'm in the military, I'm always tempted to try to pull rank on them, and then I have to keep reminding myself that like I don't have general military authority over customs agents.
Oh yeah, I could see where that would be a problem.
Oh man, so I'm assuming. I mean, I was thinking about it. I've never done really international airport travel, so like, I'm assuming customs has got to be worse than even border patrol. Border patrol's pretty bad over here.
Well, that was my first time going through too, and like, you have a little card that you've got to fill out with all your information, and I hadn't done mine appropriately because I didn't understand like I don't know, and then you're exhausted and the jet lag and stuff from it. Like that is a real legit thing. You get off and you don't know if you're coming or going. And then the lines, the way things are set up, and they shuffle you through kind of like cattle, and you're just a little bit shell shocked by the whole thing. So it's it's better your second time through once you get an idea of it. Your first time, my big advice of it is don't travel alone your first time. Get a feel of it with somebody that knows what they're doing.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, customs it can be pretty miserable. It really depends on the volume that they have for any particular day and the individual customs agent. If they're in a good mood, they've had their coffee, and they're actually good at their job, it's not bad. If they suck at their job or they're in a bad mood, you're going to be in for hours of unpleasant. And it doesn't help that it's in an airport, which just compounds the problem.
Like, I'm not a UK citizen yet, but they let me go through the UK line this time, so I wasn't separated from my family because it's off season and there were basically like 5 people lined up versus last time that there were hundreds and hundreds of people and stuff. I guess, like Jim was saying, right guys, right time, good mood.
You just gotta bring them gifts next time, like maybe hundreds and 50s.
So my Aunt Vicky always travels. She'll get on the plane and she has little gift bags done up for all the flight attendants and the pilots and whoever else she comes across. And they're little bribery bags that are just like, if anybody's getting thrown off this plane or whatever, like now they'll like us and it won't be us. It'll be somebody else's problem. And I really think it works for her. I think you should bribe people.
Just speed them. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Well, no, actually, some people will probably like be all suspicious about it and think it's something malicious.
That always reminds me of my my background desire to try and become a air marshal. I think that'd be a sweet gig.
Yeah, you get to fly around and try to act all non-suspicious, but I have a feeling you staring at everybody would look suspicious.
Well, and it's the only gig where you get to pack heat on an airplane and nobody says anything.
Fly around all over the world, meet some hot chicks in every major city all across the globe.
Spend a mother load on Amazon books. Hell yeah.
On Amazon books. Write it off as part of your work.
I would get so much reading done if my job was to sit in an airplane.
I don't know. I figured out that I absolutely hate traveling. I like getting places and being new places, but the traveling part is complete rubbish. I hate traveling.
I agree.
I'm pretty good at traveling. I'm a good sleeper on a plane. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
my only exception to this was when I caught a flight out of Afghanistan, and so imagine this, right? You've been in the desert of Afghanistan, right, where everything is dusty and brown and gray and hot and dirty, right? And you wake up ridiculously early to get on sit on this terminal for like 6 hours, and then the plane finally lands. You get on it, and it's leather seats, business class type spacing. They've got soft spa music playing and graphics of fountains and swimming pools on the walls, and these pretty Filipino flight attendants, and they're offering you your first beer in like 6 or 7 months. That is the only time I ever liked climbing on an airplane.
Yeah, I can see that.
The first time I was on an airplane as a person that could actually pay attention, remember things, I was like in my teens, because my other flight was like I was a baby, so I didn't know anything, obviously, but I remember feeling like in awe because I think I didn't realize just how high it was. I'm like climbing, and I was like, are we gonna level out? When are we gonna level out? like it just seemed like it was endless. And San Diego's airport has like it's kind of strangely built. Like it has the downtown San Diego where all the sky risers and stuff are all crammed together, and then there's Lindbergh Field, and then at Lindbergh Field it's like you better make it, otherwise you fall in the ocean. And so you're like, oh my gosh. And so it's like, oh, we cleared the skyscraper, but now we have the ocean.
Yeah, but San Diego's nice to land in because when you walk out the doors of the terminal, there's palm trees right there. And like, especially when you're coming from the cold and frozen Midwest and you walk out and it's like the temperature's jumped about 40 degrees and there's freaking palm trees. You're like, I'm going to enjoy.
Did he cut out for you guys?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, he cut out. It is
I'm
so
sorry.
cold. I couldn't imagine some palm trees and stuff right now. The snow's just about melted.
The thermometer in my car says it is 18 degrees out.
Oh, no. Yep.
Yeah, I can't do that. Like, once it's like, I don't know, like the coldest it gets here is, Scott, how cold does it get here usually?
What?
How cold does it get here usually?
Like, on average, like low 50s. The coldest.
And how cold do I act like it is?
23 below zero.
Just, apparently I can't handle it because I'm so used to, like, 80s and 90s that, like, once it gets like 50, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's something terrible. And meanwhile, people.
No, dear. Once it hits 60, you get freezing.
All right, you can put your headphones back on and go watch your show.
It's 2 degrees here, but I don't know what that is in freedom units. I haven't gotten good at converting it back and forth yet. Yeah.
Google will do that for you.
I know, but I'm on my phone. When I get to the laptop, I'll look.
I like how you put that, freedom units.
Yeah.
I know, you've been in Scotland all of like 2 seconds.
Right? I keep trying to throw the tea, like telling them I'm gonna put it in the harbor.
I gave Prudent a spanner. Watch him get all power hungry and kick everybody.
Is there anybody in chat?
You are, but you have a spanner too.
Oh well then I'm safe.
I love it when Annabelle got a spanner one time in one of your hangouts and started kicking everybody, and people were like, "No, Annabelle cannot have a spanner." And she's like, "Watch this."
That's where the meme in the name, I start calling her Spanner Bell.
She was just like arbitrarily putting people in timeout. Like your face, timeout.
But she was so happy. She was giggling like a little 12-year-old, and she was so happy, and she's like drunk with the power. Oh, it was fabulous.
It was hilarious too because people were taking it so seriously.
Yeah, no, seriously, I lost like 5 subs, but she had a blast.
Okay. Just waiting for somebody to show up on the live chat.
He's like, say something so I can ban you.
I might relax. I might not ban you yet. We'll see what happens. Yeah, you've made me power hungry. Thanks a lot, Deidre.
That was poor Christian. Every time I'd see him, I'd delete his comments and put him in timeout.
I have a ban list. So like, here's my ban list. You can ban or time out willy-nilly Darwin's deity.
Oh, I think I just saw like the viewer count was cut in half. I think I I just scared some of the people away.
I know, it's scary, Prudent with the spanner.
You give me a little power. I'm gonna take that all the way.
So DD, you can choose to deal with however you want to. MK, you can choose to deal with however you want to. Godless Girl, you can choose to deal with however you want to, meaning don't give her bombs or anything crazy. But yeah, I have a list of just whatever.
Okay, I think we got one of our viewers back, so it's not all bad. But it's mostly bad.
Nicola is in the house.
No, that's Nicola.
There you go. How come everyone can say Nikola Tesla?
or do that old commercial. But
I
can't pronounce
know.
my name right.
Well, good evening, everyone. Or whatever time of day it is where you are.
Hey, Jade.
Hey.
It's a very
Nicola.
silly evening.
Oh, I just dropped his coat down the stairway. I wonder if he'll notice. I'm not going down there after it.
Wait. How did you drop his coat down the stairway?
Because I have a big butt and I knocked it off the coat. Okay, so I'm trying to sneak a cigarette at the window.
Oh, can anybody hear me?
And
Or,
yeah,
just
Yeah, we
kinda
can
like-
hear you.
Okay, no,
and I
just
knocked his coat all the way down the stairs. And I don't know why I'm like, I wonder if he'll notice. But there's no one else to blame it on.
Quick, get a cat. You can blame it on the cat.
oh
I
yeah, that
know,
works.
right?
Cat did
But
it.
I don't think I need to go down the stairs right now.
But isn't Scotland filled with ghosts?
Oh, yeah, plenty of ghosts.
Oh, so the ghost did it.
Hmm. That hasn't worked for me in the past, but maybe this time.
It's worth a try.
What I want to know is why is there only one Christian in this stream?
Wait, what?
Darwin's deity? Is he here? Is that who's this? Is this Demon?
Made me laugh so hard I started to cough.
I'm stuck. I can't get in the door now. Oh no. He's gonna definitely know I knocked the coat over now. Oh, we did it. Okay, we're in.
So I know Jade was there, but did you guys all see Veckel get BTFO'd on MK's chat last week?
Black Lives Mattered?
Back
what
the
did-
fuck off.
Yeah.
Is that the one where he told you that it was because he was black?
Yes.
That was just amazing. That was just like
I
what
was well. First of
Hey,
all,
wait, what?
I
Yeah.
have a Veckel rant really quick. Veckel
Okay.
is one of the most what do you call it? Uncle Tom out of almost anybody here. He always sides with the whitest of the white. Always. He acts like slavery's not that bad. I mean,
Oh.
he acts like people aren't oppressed and like the cops aren't doing anything. Like, I mean, he always sides on like the opposite that you'd maybe expect somebody to side. And so there's a word for that Drag uses a lot, and it's not very nice.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
what someone else did a while back that also wasn't very nice was they made their avatar something that Veckel had typed out in a live stream chat. And it wasn't good.
Mm.
It was basically everything that you just said there, Spackle, just summarized into one sentence.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's a weird one, and so it's interesting to see him I think the first time I've ever seen him say, "Is it because I'm black?" He said it to Jim, which is just strange to me.
And that whole thing with Martin Luther King Jr. over that one paper.
And the funny thing is, I completely understood where you're going with it, because you were saying, well, where did these essentials come from? Where did these essentials come from? And you guys were talking about church history. And Veckel wouldn't answer. And I don't know if Veckel knew it or he knew where you were going, but he did the "it's just because I'm black" thing to you, which was really strange cop-out. Because really what you're getting at was the Catholic Church was the one that set up the creeds. The Nicene... I never know how to say that. The Nicene Creed. Nicene Creed, the Apostles' Creed, and was it the Athanasian?
Yeah.
Yep, and yep.
And so a lot of Protestants and Reformists don't like to say that it's the Catholic Church that did it, but those are where the essentials were set up.
Right. And I all they have to do is say something like, well, yes, it was set up that way under the Catholic Church, but they were very corrupt at the time or whatever. You don't You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. If you don't like Rome, if you don't like the church, there's nothing wrong with still affirming that what's in the creeds is what you follow.
Maybe next time I'll tell them to stop borrowing from my worldview.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. But, you know, we Catholics are really, truly all Satanist, Luciferian atheists.
You guys
I think Darwin's Greatest Hits has a video up from about a couple of years ago where Dee Dee had a conversation with Fiona.
Oh,
because he said something, I think at MK's Hangout, where he said the phrase "Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee" was a pagan saying.
Yeah, he said it wasn't in the Bible.
Yeah,
that is one of my all-time favorite videos. Even my wife liked the video, and she hates the Great Debate thing.
But yeah, he's telling Fiona none of that's in the Bible, and Fiona was just like, "What?"
Oh, I love her statement at the end too, where she's like, "Let the record show. You said I don't know my Bible."
Yeah. Now, I admit my Catholic upbringing, and I went to Catholic elementary school, I went to Catholic high school, I did go to public school for a few years in between when we moved. But, you know, my education was concentrated on the New Testament. We didn't spend as much time in the Old Testament. So I'm a bit fuzzy on some of the stuff in the Old Testament.
It's almost like there was a new covenant or something.
Yeah, you kind of get that idea, don't you? Yeah.
GTFO that shit.
You know, and as far as reading the entire Bible, I freely admit there are some parts I skimmed, and sometimes I skimmed really quickly, like the begats. I really didn't care who begat who. And so I'm going, yeah, page after page, yeah. I didn't care.
It's like, okay, we got it. Jesus came from David. Next.
Yes, exactly. That was my point exactly when I'm reading through this. I'm going, yeah, okay, fine, no problem.
Well,
and some of
the funny thing is,
laws too. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, this doesn't, yeah. You know, I'm skimming through Leviticus and Deuteronomy and the parts of the you know, the laws. These laws don't apply to us. It's historically interesting, but I'm just sort of skimming through them. So I'm quite sure I don't remember all of them.
All 613.
Yeah.
If you attend Mass regularly, you'll go through the whole Bible in the course of about 3 years.
Oh yeah.
It's just as part of the daily readings.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Well,
so the thing that
I've never heard Ezekiel 23 read.
It's in there.
Well, yeah, it's in there, but I've never heard it read in a Catholic church in 27 years. Ain't no one reading the story of the two adulterous sisters talking about how men are hung like donkeys.
They sing it so it kind of blends in.
Right. We chant that part in Latin because it kind of sanitizes it a bit.
But even if you don't even
Donde
have
está Donkey?
But you know, because if you just have your missal and you read it daily.
Donda's donkey. I'm dying. You're so wrong.
Did you know that in the Jewish
line
faith,
that follows that one is even worse? So
yeah. But in the Jewish faith, or at least in some versions of the Jewish faith, it's considered a mitzvah, which a mitzvah is a very good thing, like a blessing, for a man and a wife to read the Song of Solomon together and then help each other in other words, to climax. So there you go. The Bible's good for something.
Your
Full circle.
hair is like flowing water. Your breasts are like antelopes.
That's the most unsexy thing I've ever heard before. I'm going to help you to sex.
Right?
Well,
funny.
My phrasing wasn't very good there. Sorry. What it means is to help each other climax. In other words, to have the full experience. Yeah.
Really? They're saying that while they're doing
I don't know. If you think that that's the most unsexy thing that you've ever heard, you've lived a very interesting life. I'll just put it that way.
I don't think ultra Orthodox Jews exactly have the most fun life, but you know.
I tried telling my
No.
wife that her boobs were like twin antelopes. She didn't think it was nearly as funny as I did.
Yeah, that's not funny.
You are stately as a palm tree, and your breasts are like clusters. I say I will climb the palm tree and lay hold of its branches.
God.
I'm sorry, branches?
It says
Probably-
that.
It probably sounds better in Hebrew. Is that part in Hebrew or Aramaic?
Why have
I was-
paleoanthropologists not found these people yet?
That feeling when you look at her and say, "I'm going to climb your palm trees."
Oh, may your breasts be like clusters of the vine, and the scent of your breath like apples, and your kisses just like the wine that goes down smoothly, gliding over my lips and teeth.
Everybody turned on yet? Anybody turned on yet?
Fucking rock solid over here.
I always think it's
Oh,
funny
so
because
bad.
it was actually considered so erotic that like people weren't allowed to read it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They're like, you're too young for this. This is adults only.
That's a great way to get kids to read something.
Yeah.
When I was
remember that
in-
when I was a kid. Here, don't look these words up on Google. Well, guess what I'm going to do now.
my senior year in high school, I was in advanced placement English, and the nun who taught advanced placement English was utterly brilliant. This is a woman who had 3 master's degrees in theology, biology, and English, and we were reading the Canterbury Tales by Chaucer, and she was talking about them, and she goes, "Now, we're not going to read the Wife of Bass Tale because that's really very bawdy." And she had earlier told us, look, if you guys have a problem with things being rather bawdy and things, you just need to understand that's what people are like. That's what we're going to find in fiction. So she said, we're not going to read the Wife of Bass Tale because that's very bawdy. And then she'd go into, we're not going to read this one because of certain other thing. And of course, every kid in class except one, my best friend, wrote down, read Wife of Bass Tale, read this, read that. It took me a while to realize that she tricked us into reading all of Chaucer.
And my English teacher just read one story of Chaucer for us. And I think we spent the next 2 classes arguing about the whole hairlet nun thing.
Oh, well, the Wife of Bass Tale, for those of you who want to know, a woman is in bed with her lover. And this man who is enamored with her comes to the window and says, "Oh, my dear, I love you," or whatever. "I would love to kiss you," or something. She goes, "I'll tell you what, put a blindfold on, and I'll put my face out for you and kiss it." So he blindfolds himself and he puckers up and she sticks her butt out. And she and her lover laugh about that. He goes, "Oh, my dear, your lips are like wine." And she and her lover are laughing just hysterically about that. And then he goes, "If I could just kiss you again." So her lover's like, "Let me do it." So he sticks his butt out the window. And her lover kisses her again, kisses him, and then makes some sort of a comment about her mustache.
So basically,
Yeah.
that was just like a story that was kind of like inspired from the drawings that were in the margins of old books.
Yeah, I guess
If you ever look at like what the monks drew in their spare time after they copied those things,
those are great.
Oh yeah, some of these
they're
are
amazing. There's a
fantastic.
guy blowing a trumpet out of his ass, or
Yeah.
nuns
Giant-
harvesting penises from a penis tree.
Yes.
Rabbit monster for no reason. Stuff. Oh, I love them.
One of the funniest ones is, and no one knows why this is, but in a lot of those old handwritten, Bibles, there are a number of knights who are facing off with snails, and the knights have swords in their hand. So they're like, fighting off a giant snail with a sword. Nobody knows why knights are fighting off giant snails with a sword. It possibly some sort of a saying back then, or a private joke.
French.
Nobody knows why.
When in doubt,
Maybe,
just blame
I
the
don't know.
French.
Yeah, there you go. That works. But it's hysterical. I've seen the pictures. It's like, what's with the giant snails and the knights with swords? But yeah, those little margins are hysterical. They're great.
Well, it's kind of funny too, because when I was first introduced to that kind of artwork, it was with Monty Python, and I don't know what's funnier, the ones that inspired Monty Python or Monty Python's actual parody of them.
I showed my boys some clips from Monty Python and the Holy Grail the other day, and they thought it was hilarious.
Timeless classic.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. And The Life of Brian, that one too.
Shortly after I graduated high school, we were doing a bunch of stage productions, and of course, always if you want to go and see a musical or something, don't go on opening night, don't go in between. Always go on the last night of the performance. Always do that. The reason being is all the reviews are in, all the tickets are sold, and the actors don't give a fuck anymore.
Oh, but it's also a night where you can be free, because I've done theater. Because the last night, you know you're going to have, not only that, you're probably drunk. Because during the run, you try to be cool, try to keep it together. But the last night, first of all, you're going to have the closing party, the cast. But you have a party every week. But the very last night, you have the last night party, which is just huge, and everybody gets totally wasted, and it's a lot of fun. But you usually start drinking a little earlier.
Yeah.
So, and it's also the night that if you've got two people that actually hate each other, but they're nice to each other on stage because they have to be, that's the night when somebody finally says, "Fuck it, I'm tripping her."
Oh, we did a musical called Once Upon a Mattress, and it was the Princess and the Peas story, except made more reasonable.
Yeah.
And on the last night, we had prepared different costumes for all the extras, so everyone was dressed up as one of the Knights of Knee. And when one of the knights rides in, he's followed by his squire with the coconuts, and we squeezed in as many Monty Python references as we could.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
It would be so distracting if you weren't expecting it. And just carry on.
Well, people loved it. There were finer things that people didn't understand. When we break into the first song, everyone is supposed to go from being this observant audience and watching the test to see if someone is a true princess. And then they break off into little groups, and everyone would pretend to mingle and talk amongst themselves. And if you watched closely, and you would see somebody pull a bag of herbs out of their pocket and take money from the other person that they were handing it to.
Yeah.
So it looks there's a drug deal going on left stage, but
well, it's also the time that as you go through the run of the play, people, unless you have a really, really uptight director, people will experiment with stuff.
Or a cast of lovies, but
people will experiment with stuff throughout the play. Yeah, there'll be a different movement, a different, I remember, was it Mame? When they did Mame, I played in the orchestra for part of Mame, but I wasn't on stage. But it was fun to watch every night, because the woman who played not Mame, but her best friend, every night she would improvise slightly, and she was a drama teacher at the college too, so she was very good. And it was hysterical how every single night she would slightly improvise, especially when she woke up in bed, and the one night she just kind of tossed her head, the covers over her head, and she was all disheveled and looking sideways out of the bed. And it was, it doesn't sound like much, but the way she did it, it was just a brilliant moment. So as the play progressed, everybody in that play, they started improvising just a little bit here and there. And by the final night, they had it down to all the best laughs. So the final night was just brilliant. And everybody was drunk. Or on their way to it. So.
Y'all are a bunch of thespians.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, that's Huey Long,
Hey, there's Jackie in chat.
Yeah. It was Huey Long. It was the Huey Long, who was a famous Louisiana politician, who managed to partly win an election because he accused his opponent of matriculating and that he had a sister who was a thespian. And of course, the way that Huey Long did it was in a really angry, and this man, he's matriculated and he has a sister who's a thespian.
He would go on the radio like after every FDR speech just to give a response to it.
Oh yeah.
That was
Jackie has a spanner. Watch out.
Pretty, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
She's dangerous.
Huey Long was Huey Long.
He got
a character.
Yeah. He got gunned down, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He got killed by a doctor, I think. It was But one of the most brilliant things he did, although it's kind of negative. You remember this is Louisiana back in what, the 40s? Do you remember the exact time scale, Pruden? I don't. 30s?
I think it was the 30s. I mean,
30s. Okay. So and he was known as the Kingfish too, because he really ruled politics. But so anyway, what happened was a group of black leaders in the state came to Huey Long, and they said, "Huey, we have a problem, and we have a lot of young black women who have are nurses, and they've gone out and they've gotten their degrees, but they can't get jobs because even in the black hospitals, now remember this is the 30s in Deep South, so there were the black hospitals and there were the white hospitals. So even in the black hospitals, they had all white nurses, and our young women can't get jobs." And so Huey Long looked at them and he said, "Well, I'll tell you what, I can fix this. You're not going to like the way I'm going to do it, but I can fix it." And they said, "We don't care how you do it." I mean, these people knew Louisiana. They knew what was going to happen. So Huey Long decided to make a tour of a black hospital. And he came out, and he was very theatrical. And I forget the exact description, but it's kind of like he was all sweating and all upset. And the reporter says, "You wouldn't believe what I saw in there. Here were these white women, the flower of Southern womanhood, waiting hand and foot on these," insert word here. Within no time at all, they got black nurses in black hospitals.
It's really funny that people were particular about who got the joy of wiping your ass when you're too sick to do it yourself.
Hey man, you got to keep that racial purity.
Yeah, not like we are all a bunch of mutts.
While you're in a bedpan.
Well, and not only that, not only are we all a bunch of mutts, but us Europeans are part Neanderthal.
I know.
Talk, right?
It's like if you're Scandinavian or Irish, likelihood is that you're part Neanderthal.
Neanderthal master race. Speak for yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm German and Irish, so I'm undoubtedly Neanderthal. I've set in for my DNA, so we'll see how much Neanderthal I am. I'd be disappointed if I was none.
Hey, they were just kind of hard up.
Yeah.
German and Irish, there's no hope for you. Don't ever drink or you're done.
Oh, I drink. The weird thing is I apparently got the don't give a fuck genes because I don't have a problem with drinking. A lot of people in my family do. And growing up, I was very cautious about drinking because of that.
Yeah, I got 6 kids though. I have to drink or I won't make it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Of course, being German and Irish also makes me very stubborn.
You're stubborn? I hadn't noticed.
You hadn't noticed that, huh? No.
I think you should stop reading Song of Solomon, man.
Yeah, you got me.
That's what causes 6 kids, huh?
Well, yeah, that and I won't go into detail, but you know what's funny though? If you check my kids' birthdays against my my tour of duty or my deployment history, it marries up or it lines up pretty nicely.
Can I ask a personal question?
You can. I might not answer.
Okay. Do you both work?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say because how would you take care of it? Like the daycare alone would be killer.
God, yeah. We considered it, but
no. Worth it. It wouldn't be worth it probably unless you had some killer job.
To define killer.
I don't know, 60 an hour or more.
Okay, because I was going to define killer literally, in which case I do have a killer job.
Oh gosh, don't be telling people what you are now.
Well, I'm in the Army.
Yeah.
I've never made any secrets about that.
Yeah.
He's in the Army now.
You're not behind the plow.
I'll still as long as I live, I will never forget the first words they ever said to me when I joined the Army. Get the F off the bus, mother effer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You knew.
Oh, don't call an Army non-commissioned officer, sir.
Yeah.
I'm not a sir. I work for a living.
Right.
Exactly. And that's exactly what you'll be told after you're done doing more push-ups than you thought was humanly possible.
Right. My dad was in the Army, unfortunately for him. He got drafted at 30 years old with high blood pressure. It was World War II. They took everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He did tell. It's actually a really long, sad story because my dad was a college graduate and an accountant, and he had made arrangements with Gene Tunney, who was the fighter. Gene Tunney or John Tunney? I always get them mixed up. Because my dad had an athletic background. He was an athlete in college. He was going to go into the Navy, and he was going to be refereeing sporting events for the Navy, because they to keep the troops, for their morale, they held sporting events, stuff like that. So my dad had signed up for this, only to go home and find that his draft notice was waiting. And he went down. He said, "But I've already signed up for this." They said, "We don't care that you've already signed up for the Navy. Your draft notice takes precedence." So at that time, you could either go, when you got drafted, you could either choose Army or Navy. So my dad thought, okay, well, I'll just go in the Navy and then contact Tunney and, everything will be okay. He was then told, "No, I'm sorry, you don't get a choice anymore. You're going in the Army."
That's almost exactly what happened to my grandfather. He
Really?
had joined the Air Force because he knew it was coming. He knew there was no way out of it. So he went and joined the Air Force and got himself a berth in flight school, and only to come home and find out that the Army had already drafted him.
Oh, God. Well, it gets worse for my dad because this was near the end of the war anyway, because he had his blood pressure wasn't super high, but it was high enough to keep him out of the regular, Army. And there was no way they would send him overseas he wasn't going to be especially at 30 years old. But so he thought, well, okay, so I'm stuck in the Army. I'll be an officer. Surely I can pass the test because I'm a college graduate. Went to Creighton in Nebraska. And so the day the test comes, he's in the hospital with a high fever. So he snuck out of the hospital to take the test for OTS, Officer Training School, and flunked the test because he was sick. And they wouldn't let him take it again.
That does suck.
Yeah. And so he ended up being a clerk in the motor pool for the war while he was here. Here in California. So he was not fond of the Army. I mean, he did his part. He was not fond of the Army at all. If you asked him about the Army, he'd kind of growl. He just
Hell, I do that now, and I've been in for 10 years.
And the funny thing is, my mom, she came out here with my dad. She got a job with the Army. Actually, it was the Army Air Force. At that time, it was the Army Air Force. And she wore a uniform throughout the war, but she wasn't actually a member because they did that. Women, they didn't like women being in the armed forces. So even though my mom wore a uniform for the entire war and worked for the Army Air Force, she wasn't technically a member of the Army Air Force. And she worked in the she worked out in the desert. The group that she worked for, what they did was they tested planes out in the desert, right? And if a plane crashed, they would go out and they would collect every bit of the plane and log it exactly where it landed, and then the engineers would figure out what happened. And that's the group my mom belonged to. She was part of the people who were tracking all the broken pieces of airplane that fell down. And the irony of it is about many, many years later, after about, I don't know, 20 years after she married my stepfather, they were having a conversation and they realized that they had actually met back then. Because my stepfather was exempt. He was an engineer working on designing airplanes, and people who were engineers working on designing airplanes, it wasn't just that they were exempt, they couldn't join the services. One of his colleagues tried to join. They went to boot camp, got him, and sent him back to Boeing or whatever it was, because they needed people designing airplanes. Well, my dad had been on a test flight and had to, the plane something went wrong, and he had to bail out of the plane with a parachute with the pilot. And they met then, but they didn't even realize for 40 years that it was each other. Weird little stories.
That's kind of cute, actually.
It is. They were really delighted when they discovered that. Wait, you mean you're the guy that? Yeah, I was the guy with the. Oh my God!
I don't have any cute stories. Mine are just angry and sad and pathetic.
And do they involve shooting people?
There are some, yeah. But a lot of them are just like those. It's the kind of story that just makes you depressed because you realize that the Army life sucks a lot.
Why did you join the Army?
At the time, I was a really big believer in the Iraq War, and I was drinking the W Kool-Aid pretty hard.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
And I also, and the way I saw it too, right? Because it was back in 2006, so there were a lot of guys going over there, doing back-to-back rotations, and just, it was hard times all around. And I figured, it's like, I'm young, I'm single, I'm strong, I'm healthy. Maybe I can go over there and get somebody some relief. Just if I can give one guy a break from back-to-back tours, I think I've done a good thing. And then I went
back-to-back tours were just horrible on people.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
The funny thing was, I was totally, I was a total hawk when I joined, and now I'm more anti-war than I ever was before.
Oh, I knew a lot of guys who went to Vietnam who were totally pro-war, and when they came back, they joined Veterans Against the War.
Yeah.
That war was a nightmare.
I haven't yet seen because I know Ken Burns made a documentary on that. I still haven't actually seen it yet.
Yeah, I sort of can't see it yet, because I was an adult during those times, and I was an anti-war protester. I despise that war.
Were you at any of the ones for in DC or just the ones in California?
Yeah, Los Angeles. Yeah. It was really interesting. One protest we were at was actually really exciting for me because we found ourselves marching with the suffragettes. I mean, literal suffragettes. The women we were marching right next to were suffragettes. These were the women who fought to get women the vote. And that was kind of exciting to me because, wow, how cool is that? And then we had the marvelous time where we ended up in an argument about what our group was going to march with, whether we were going to end up marching with the Jewish Defense League or the Trotskyite communists. And the thing is, you sort of got assigned a position, so everything wasn't totally crazy. And we ended up with this choice. We were going to be marching next to the Jewish Defense League or these Trotskyite communists. We were like, holy crap, this is like being between, we've got a choice between a rock and a hard place. Who the hell are we going to
choose? Neither? Because both
I know.
Are fucking crazy.
Just stay home that day.
Can you please put us someplace else? No, we actually managed to maneuver ourselves into marching right behind the Another Mother for Peace group, and that was the group that had a lot of Hollywood celebrities in it, like Betty White. So that turned out okay. Probably not so much for them because there were a bunch of scruffy. This is a gay group. I was so they had a bunch of scruffy radical lesbians marching with them. But at least we weren't with the JDL or the Trotskyite communists.
I actually, yeah, I don't know what was the point of the JDL? Like they were against the Vietnam War.
No, well, yeah, the JDL was against the Vietnam War. Everybody was against the Vietnam War. The Jewish Defense League were real radicals. They didn't start out to be so radical. There was this one guy, and I used to know his name really well.
Mira Kahana.
I can't think of. Yeah, Kahana. Thank you. Who took them to an extreme point of view?
Yeah. He actually then immigrated to Israel. He became a politician over there. Like it was like a really far right party, and then he got banned.
Yes. Yeah. But he was advocating arming people here in the United States.
He was
fight against.
He actually got assassinated, I think, in 1990 in New York. He was actually assassinated by somebody who may have actually been associated with Al Qaeda. He may have been like the first death by Al Qaeda. We're not entirely sure on the details of it because there's still a lot of There's still a lot of unknowns over that, but it's very possible that he could have been.
But he also pissed off a lot of people who had his same point of view. And so there was a suspicion, too, that he might have actually been shot by someone who was either a radical, a JDL type person or someone who was the opposite, who felt that there were people who felt that he betrayed them. So but you're right. It's still quite questionable who killed him. But man, I remember when he took over the JDL and he started making it more well, maybe not when he took it over, but when he started taking a more radical position. And those people were crazy. Let me tell you. So we're standing there. Two groups went at each other. And that's kind of where they were just screaming and yelling at each other. You can imagine the Trotskyite communists on one side and the JDL on the other side, and just screaming at each other. Well, especially since there were Jews on both sides. That was the really interesting.
But one was like very was very heavily nationalistic, and the other one was very anti-nationalistic.
Right. And so you heard, I'm a Jew too, and they're screaming at each other. And so we just sort of like backed away and moved off to the side to try to see if we could go someplace else. And that's when we sort of wormed our way into being behind the Another Mother for Peace group. They were really quite nice to us, even though we were a bunch of scruffy lesbians, radical lesbians.
They probably saw you as maybe better than some of the other groups there.
Yeah, well, we were all very young, and we actually were dressed fairly nicely for us. We weren't weren't
looking to start a fight with anybody, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, we were just wearing like regular clothes. Nobody was. We tried to not like have everybody show up in torn jeans or something like that.
This was in the 70s, right?
70s, yeah, 1970s, yeah. But that was interesting.
So when like considering you're like hanging out with radical lesbians, it's like how do you I think back in the 70s ago, how did you not get stabbed even in California? Wasn't it kind of scary back then?
Yes, it was. No, but a couple of friends of mine did have a gun pulled on them once. Although it was actually a gay guy who pulled a gun on him. That was this weird
that's
story.
Complicated.
Well, no, there was this guy who ran a gay club, and he was it's kind of a nutter. But a group of friends of mine went in because they had some flyers for something they wanted to, and this is fairly common. People would go to different gay clubs and gay bars, and if you had an event coming up, you were raising money for something, or I actually think this was a musical event that they were going in there, and he didn't want scruffy radical lesbians in his club, and so he ordered them to go at gunpoint.
That's taking the battle of the sexes to a whole new level.
Yeah, but he was kind of a nutter. It was. I was in the car when this happened. It was van actually. I was in the van when this happened, and they came running out, and I could see the guy in the doorway with his gun. I was like, "Holy crap!" But
by van,
we just
do you
left.
mean VW bus?
No, nobody I knew had a VW bus. Interestingly enough, it was just a van.
Well, that just ruins everything.
I know, unfortunately.
My total perception of you has been radically altered now.
Oh. No. But yeah, that was no, it was very scary to be gay back then, especially to be out and be political.
Yeah,
It's so vastly different.
They
now.
actually made a movie about that with Sean Penn, the movie Milk.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
think that
I
movie-
saw that.
I think
Yeah.
he won an Oscar for that.
Mhm. That's a very good movie. The one thing there is in the movie, there's a point where he is arguing with Bruce Hershenson. I think I've got the name right. Who is a virulently anti-gay candidate for senator here in California. The one thing I have to give Hershenson credit for is that if he hadn't run, yes,
Sorry,
I agree with you, dog. He was horrible.
No, that's not my dog. That's my husband.
Oh,
That's how he.
That's great.
How he sneezes.
that was well done.
It's okay.
But
you made someone laugh. It's cool. He's all giving me the look.
But anyway, with Hershenson, I've tried to find. This is one of those. Everything's on the internet now, but older stuff you can't find. It just you can't. I've been trying to find video of Hershenson when he was running for office because he was so hateful. People say, "Oh, no, these people didn't really hate gays." If you were to see his actual interviews with him, hate was just dripping off of him. It's unbelievable, and I would love to find some of those videos to show people what it really was like back then. But Milk had a debate with him or something like that. And the one problem I have with the movie is that it doesn't show Hershenson as downright evil as he was. And he was. He actually tried to pass a law here in California that would essentially criminalize any teacher, not only any teacher who was gay, but any teacher who brought up something who was gay, or any friend of a teacher who was gay. I mean, it was so bad. Only thing that's you couldn't have a gay. The only thing that what stopped it, President Ronald Reagan said, "No, we don't need that," and that was enough for all Republicans to just drop it.
Was that when he was a governor?
Yeah, it was a really nasty bill. But this is Hershenson. He was a very hateful person. But the one thing I give him credit for is if he hadn't been such an awful human being, Barbara Boxer would never have been elected, because Barbara Boxer was even a bit too liberal for most Democrats in California at the time. But she was running against Hershenson, and people hated Hershenson so much, Boxer won.
And she had a very long run, Boxer.
Well, she turned out to be very good. I mean, you can disagree with her politics. Okay, that's one thing. But she turned out to be very effective. Barbara Boxer was literally the woman when she first ran for office. She was literally the housewife who went door to door, knocking people's doors and asking to speak to them. That's how she got elected in the first place. She was always very in touch with her constituent, and she was a balance to Dianne Feinstein. But she turned out to be far more effective as a senator than I thought she would have been. I was not for her in the primary back then, but it turned out to be very good.
Shout out to Dragnot, who just subbed to the Moderate C Word channel.
Oh, cool. Good.
I just want everybody to know that Dragnot's more than just cleavage. He's a good guy. And
it's more than just what?
He out there lurking. He should come talk.
I know, right? If he's just he might not be able to. He has to stay married and stuff.
Oh well, that's true. That would be a nice thing.
And shout out to RSC. Oh! Let me take care of you. Okay, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, he's not just a pretty face.
Yeah, Drag, you're not just a pretty face.
Yeah.
Were y'all talking about me or something?
Yeah. He is. Let me tell you this. I am a lesbian, but he is a pretty good looking guy.
I objectify completely and utterly.
I appreciate that. a few of us saw that some of y'all didn't have a lot of views. So I said I gotta fix that. Gotta fix that.
Well, we were up against Steve and MK, you know, and MK, of course, is real important.
MK telling people he's not crazy.
Y'all gonna have to go in a queue now, okay?
Yeah.
I told MK he could eat a dick for that because I wasn't gonna wait in a fucking queue.
I broke
Yeah,
MK last time I played with him. I'm leaving him alone this round.
That sounds hot. Say it again. I mean, just what was the story behind that?
Turns out if there's a goal in the net, you can still score.
Oh, well, Deidre's guilty too.
Oh gosh, yeah. I don't even
So
remember.
it was a threesome.
Yeah.
Maybe a twosome, and the other person just kind of got lost.
Happens. I mean, have you seen no, just tell me what happened in the.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Oh
Thank you.
gosh.
I didn't finish.
It was
Oh my god.
I didn't finish it.
something about women being stupid. So I rode him like a pine pony until he dropped off the internet again and went on one of his siestas, and he's now back. And
And he told me to apologize, and I never will.
So he called women stupid, and you called him out for it, and then he got sad.
Yeah, I'll
He's
look to
saying
the
he's not
post.
sexist, and he wanted me to agree that he's not sexist, but he totally is. And so
I mean,
like,
you
I
can't
was
just
like,
go
yeah.
and call all women stupid and then go, no, it's cool. Like, no, bro.
Well,
Like,
you know,
it's rich. Somebody calling all women stupid when they don't know where the damn bathroom is.
less intelligent than men. That was the.
If RSC wants in, I don't know if he does or not, but he's welcome, and I added Midnight in case he wants to come in. So,
Oh, okay.
FYI.
You should totally add Darth Dawkins.
Yeah, right. Sure.
You know, DD was in one of my hangouts once, and it was when I was on my Holy Spackle channel, and you can sub to that channel because I'll be doing interviews again. I interviewed Shanaraki, and he came in the off air and just started hammering with his apologetics, and I said, no, that's not what we're here for, and you have like 2 minutes to wrap it up, and he kept going on, and all of a sudden Christopher Mahdi's like, listen, you have the lady said, or knock it off. And then he's like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, like in like 2 minutes from him yelling at him, Mahdi's like very magical. They started talking about Taylor Ham in New Jersey and palling around, and like it was the weirdest freakingest thing.
He has that ability. That is the Malty.
Mahdi magic.
I'm magically inviting people too. It's gonna be a fucking party.
That was the weird thing about Maudy back when he joined the community. Damn near overnight, he became like the group diplomat for everyone.
Oh, like I can be a little diplomatic, but this guy's magical.
Oh yeah.
Well, he explained to me how he does it, and he has a technique. I'll say that there's a technique.
He's putting that psychology degree to good work.
I know, right? Hey, what's going on, Prudent? What's going on, man? Hey, I ain't see you there.
Hey, sorry, just
Well, it's easy to miss him. He is only a fraction of a dot.
Sure.
To be honest, you're asking how I'm doing. I mentioned this before we went on air. I'm actually not doing all that good. My best friend from college actually passed away this week, so
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, try to not pick on him today.
it's fine. No, it's fine. Just a little. I'm just shocked by it all, to be honest. But it happens.
I don't want you to snap.
What, you think I'm that vulnerable?
Yes.
Well, it's just that we've had these shootings lately, and kidding.
Wow.
Well, we were just talking about that in the off-air hangout.
Too soon.
Shit, normally I think I towed the line.
Well, I
set
don't
the bar real high for me tonight.
Well, I'm not
Okay,
a gun owner yet.
So now that we're all here, let's conspiratize. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, there's more people coming. There's more people coming. I got you. Okay. Whoop, how you doing? Thank you for bringing some barbecue late at night. Appreciate it.
Wasn't me this time.
You too. What?
When I hear barbecue,
bringing you
late at night,
barbecue, I said it wasn't me this time. Sorry. Go ahead.
When he says barbecue late at night, all I think of is indigestion and heartburn. I'm getting old and it sucks.
It does. But you know what? I'm going to enjoy this body. I'm taking good care of it. I promise. Feeding it lots of stuff. Scott Gearton's supposed to be in here in a minute.
So I actually had barbecue just a few minutes ago. So there you go. It seems to be that night.
Yeah, it's
found it.
one of those nights. My wife went over to my cousin's house, and so they're having a let's talk about our husbands session. So my cousin's at work, the cop, so he just drove over here. So we were talking about our wives for a little bit, so it's fair. Yeah.
Talk about your wives for a bit. Was that really just you guys playing Sleep, Marry, Murder?
I'm not going to say if that happened or not at some point in time today. I'm just going to let that go.
Yeah.
Are your ears burning, as the phrase goes?
Yeah.
There, Drag. I'm sending it to your Facebook.
You're sending what to my Facebook? Would Angus approve? What is it?
Hey, Renee,
Oh.
I haven't seen you for ages.
Hey, Cliff. How you doing?
Can't get in.
Oh, not too bad.
Drag, say something in my live chat, by the way.
Say something like, just because girls aren't useful. Oh, holy shit. Just asking because girls aren't usually into this stuff. And on top of it, I read a comment you wrote under a video, and it seemed smart. Not dissing girls, but they don't strike me as intellectual. Okay,
That's what it was that set us off.
When he learns how to type a grammatically correct sentence at some point in his fucking life, he can talk about other people's intelligence.
Yeah, that came up.
Wrote on him.
Bragg, he doesn't need to do that. He just has to learn how to install Grammarly.
Okay, so let me send you the other one. I mean, because I wrote on him hard for about a week or two, and then he
Gotta
just
stop
disappeared.
saying that. You really
Yeah,
gotta.
yeah, you really do.
I'm trying my hardest. See, you just.
I am so glad I'm not the only person whose
You
brain
see-
went there, though.
Yeah, you see,
I
now
just-
you got Drag doing it. We got the double entendres going around everywhere.
See, I'm envisioning her sitting on him with a saddle and spurs with a whip in her hand, and he's got a bridle
Right.
on.
Oh, that's kinky.
Yeah, just let's not
Just
go
made
there
it
because
worse.
that's just making it worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I suppose
Yeah, that
I
was
should leave off the
MK,
part where he's wearing a
not
thong.
G-Man, though. G-Man's about right there, too, but that was MK.
I sent the other one where we were messing with them to the to your Facebook. Yeah.
I couldn't remember, and the screen caps that I got, I remember they were so ridiculous. I know I shared them in our Facebook group, but I don't think I saved. Well, I probably saved them on my computer, but that one's down. So
Here,
I'm gonna-
Deeds. I'll send them to you too.
yeah. And so he wants to reconcile our differences, but I'm like, I don't hate you, man, but
Who are we talking about here?
Michael Klein.
MK, because he's been okay. Do you know why he's doing that? I should ask that first. That whole reconciling differences thing.
No, why is he doing it?
Okay, so God spoke to him in his head at some point in time recently, and told him that rather than avoiding the people that he's had beef with, I'm using his terminology, he should try and reconcile his differences with them because, again, he's been told this by the Almighty. And so anyone who's ever said anything bad to him or anytime he's got offended by anybody saying anything, he's now trying to contact them and find out what's going on. So evidently at some point I told him that he's crazy because he posited something crazy and he got offended and he thought there was some big beef between us. And I was like, no, I just thought you were fucking crazy. That's all. It'll be a really big deal. It's not your fault. Bad genetics, all that good stuff. And parents didn't love you, whatever. So he expressed to me that it's offensive if you tell people some of your personal thoughts about them while you're putting forth an argument. Well, I said, okay, if you tell me that there's a dragon in your garage, and I say, okay, give me a scale to prove that it's, there. Okay, fine. But if you tell me that you piss gold, I'm going to call you crazy. There is a scale at some point. And which he agreed. And so he eventually somewhat reneged on his position, but he is now moving toward the little touchy-feely. If you say something that hurts someone's feelings, make sure you damn well apologize and try not to do it again. He then said, well, you should just rephrase it so it doesn't sound like it's as bad. But I said, well, if I say that you're just not mentally stable, I'm saying the exact same thing as me saying that you're crazy. It's just nicer words. So do you want me to still call you crazy using different words? To which, of course, he disagreed. So it's a really interesting hangout that we had. It was really cordial, but I do think that he's trying to make it some type of fucking effort to reconcile differences.
Well, I don't know. That sounds like one of these 10-step programs like AA or NA, and by that I mean Assholes Anonymous or Numbskulls Anonymous, one or the other.
Well,
but by any account, that explains why DD is back.
I don't really give him a hard time. Like, it's like one of those things where I showed up in his live chat a couple times. I don't troll him hard, but if he says something dumb like that, of course I'm gonna come down hard.
I just troll his guests. It's a lot funner.
I didn't mean to give him such a hard time, but he was such an obnoxious ass that it was kind of easy after a little bit. And then when I realized like he wasn't sleeping and he was obsessing over this, how he was going to prove that women were more stupid than men. And I told him, I was like, dude, take care of your mental health and everything, and I'll talk to you later. And
really
he
crazy.
went off because he's like, oh, you're calling me crazy. Oops, I got caught. Hang on.
You got caught? What are you doing now,
Uh-oh.
Renee?
Uh-oh. See, now I'm curious.
Yeah, I think I woke him up. I didn't mean to.
Yeah. She's sick and banished to the living room, and then she threw his coat off of the stairway.
No, we're good. He went back to bed.
Don't wake the bear.
I like
I know
that
I
you
did.
made MK go to your room. That was good.
So what?
I like that you made MK to go to your room.
I did? I thought I went to his.
Oh, I thought you did. Never mind.
Nah. I just made a video about him.
And we're
That stupid fucking group he made.
back to the double entendres.
Behavior.
Bad behavior.
I watched it, and he was really, really patient with MK, and he sat and he'd work it out with him, like Crayola style, just kind of, okay, so maybe you have a problem with people saying things, but you're kind of acting this way, and we have and like really gentle, and worked it through, and went over it over and over and over again. It was interesting.
Well, yeah, I was looking at porn while I was talking to him.
Oh, okay, well there you go.
And yet another double entendre.
No, I don't think that was.
No, I was
that
really
one was just
looking at-
explicit.
I was
he
looking
really
at-
was just looking at porn.
I was reading an article about Stormy Daniels, and I was wondering why Trump picked like her of all people.
Well, according to some articles and some accounts, he said to her before the whole event, "You remind me of my daughter,"
Yeah.
just to make shit weird.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
awful.
She looks nothing now. She's not even like I looked at some of her. Well, I looked at her portfolio. We'll say that, and I wasn't really impressed.
Who was Stormy or Ivanka?
Oh.
I've only seen the gag reflex on one, so I can't really compare.
Again, Stormy.
I thought it was
Touche.
This is not getting any better.
Dangling modifiers are a thing, dude.
Dangling what?
You talk
See-
about double entendre.
He's doing it on purpose. Like he's been to the field. He's doing it on purpose.
For thousands of years, monarchies.
What the heck are you watching?
That was my bed. That was my bed. That was. I thought
Thousands
I
of
had.
years,
I'm
monarchies.
trying to down.
like
Okay, I'm
Steve
trying to
Gray.
download something. So
It's the intro to some really, really weird porn.
no, I'm just a history nerd. So I thought I had my thing on mute. I didn't.
You thought, okay, well, I've said that statement so many times in different contexts, but I understand.
So how is it on the banished side of things?
We make jokes about the cabal and off-air hangouts and just kind of watch as the format slowly changes.
You keep pronouncing it wrong, Drag.
Cable.
It's not a cabal, it's a cable.
Oh, excuse me, the cable.
Yeah, do I have to show the cable again?
No, no.
Okay.
You know what's funny about this? Steve has effectively alienated enough people that it's effectively going to return a bit to the old days where you had a number of people running their own hangouts on many evenings. You know, so instead of having one place to go to have conversations, you have many places you can go.
Well, it should be like that. It shouldn't be like one centralized fucking, you know, area.
Yep.
Where's Scott at? There he is now. Okay.
Sorry
full
for the
earlier.
phone glitch that happens sometimes.
Yeah, I got Google quaked.
Yep.
So,
Just sucks.
is there any chance then that mommy and daddy are getting back together, or you broke up for good?
No, like if he can apologize if he acknowledges like he outright lied about us, but even then I wouldn't. No, I'm not fucking with him because it
feels.
Hmm?
It kind of feels like one of those big corporations just got broken up into a bunch of smaller subsidiaries.
Well, that assumes that there was, you know, value in one of them to begin with, but you know, hey.
It's Ma Bell all over again.
Actually, I think it's more like somebody decided to declare that the subsidiaries were part of some massive corporation when they were never to begin with.
Well, it kind of behaves that way, right? Like the nameless channel was kind of the one upon which most of the activity centered.
Well, that was done by design.
Yeah. It was somebody trying to basically centralize the activity when it's always been decentralized, and that to me was weird.
Okay, why don't we quit talking about this and talk
Yeah,
about Ask Goblins of Auschwitz?
Oh, Ask Goblins of Auschwitz, what?
I like it.
I'm all for it, but what the heck
Let me-
are we
let me give
talking
you the
about? I'm confused.
Let me give you the link.
Oh, somehow he booted Renee by accident.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
We got
Here's the link to the book if anyone wants to see. There is actually a book. And Cliff, aren't you the one who found this?
Yeah, what happened was about a week ago, someone pointed out, the mention of chicken pox and things like that came along. It was thanks to the Science Bitches Hangout about a week ago. And when I was a kid, my mum had this horror book, and the front cover had a face of a guy, and he had like it looked like he'd been sprayed with acid in a few places, that his face was all gored out and had holes in it. It was really kind of disgusting. And my mum said, if you pick your chicken pox, that's what's going to happen to you. And that kind of scared me into not doing it. And it was a bit messed up. And so I thought to myself, I wonder if I can find that cover. So I went and I typed in 1970s horror book cover and stuff like that, trying to find it. And I'm going through and I'm looking at these covers and it's like, what the hell? Ask Goblins of Auschwitz? So I shared it because it's like some people have got some really weird ideas.
Okay, Renee, you have like 5 minutes to get back in. Otherwise, Scott Geerton's coming back in.
And I discovered that I have Kindle Unlimited, which allows me to read as many books on Kindle that are in that category, that are on the Kindle Unlimited list as I want per month. And much to my delight, I found out that Ask Goblins of Auschwitz is on Kindle Unlimited. I haven't read it yet, but yeah, it's
Actually, there's another book out there that's actually my editor pointed out to me that she also did some work editing, which was probably the weirdest job ever because the title of the book is something along the lines of Love in the Days of Autocorrect. And it's done like messages sent back and forth between two people in love with all the autocorrect weirdness involved.
A lot of ducks appear.
Yeah, okay. Let me read you the blurb describing this book, because it says, it's Monty Python meets Nazi exploitation in a surreal nightmare as can only be imagined by bizarro author Cameron Pierce. In a land where black snow falls in the shape of swastikas, there exists a nightmarish prison camp known as Auschwitz. It is run by a fascist, flatulent race of aliens called the Ass Goblins, who travel in apple-shaped spaceships to abduct children from the neighboring world of Kidland. Prisoners 999 and 1001 are co-joined twin brothers forced to endure the sadistic tortures of these ass-shaped monsters. To survive, they must eat kid skin and work all day constructing bicycles and sex dolls out of dead children. While the ass goblins become drunk on cider made from fermented children, the twins plot their escape, but it won't be easy. They must overcome toilet toads, cock rats, ass dolls, and the surgical experiments that are slowly mutating them into goblin child hybrids. Forget everything you know about Auschwitz. You are about to get shit slaughtered.
You know what? I can't. You know what? I'm just, okay. All right.
Glad I could help.
Like, what do you? So,
I clearly stepped away at the wrong moment.
I don't even know what to say. Like, what do you go with that?
What can anyone say? It's just
Like,
Just sit in the corner with me, cross-eyed, saying repeatedly. It works.
like how did they ferment the dead kids? Like, oh, there's so many questions.
I think we should just.
Shadow, you're assuming I don't do that already on a regular basis.
Well, man, if you
and how come? And how come co-joined twins are 999 and 1001? Wouldn't they be 999 and 1000? Who's 1000?
I just
So many questions.
I think that the conjoined twins have 2 area codes. I don't know.
I don't know.
All that's going through my mind is I went out for a smoke, and I'm wondering what the hell did I come back to?
I'm right there with you, man. I got no idea what's going on.
We're not repeating that. I just
I'm not reading that again. No, you can look at the link. I'll tell you what, if you cannot see
I'll
the
look
link,
it up.
and just read the blurb about it, and you'll know what we're talking about. And if you don't have the link, I can give it to you. The thing is, because it's on Kindle Unlimited and free, I'm going to actually have to read it, or at least start reading it, just to see what the hell this is.
Today on Masterpiece Theater, we will be discussing the Ass Goblins of Auschwitz.
I was surprised in the Tremor series that they kept the name Ass Blasters. I thought that was just kind of a one-time thing that they were going to do, just to describe what they do. No, they just kept it. Said whatever, Farticus, Explodicus.
Oh man, we're talking about Tremors. Fantastic.
Yeah, what are they up to? What are they up to? Tremor 6 now?
4.
No, it's beyond 4.
Oh no, 4 was in when they went back in time.
Yeah. Well, but what about the one that took place in Africa?
Yeah, no, that was 5. Yeah, it was 5.
That's
You're
5.
correct.
Okay.
I did watch that the other day. I forgot it was 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah, that was 5.
So are they trying to catch up with Hellraiser?
I don't know.
They're milking the series.
Hey, you shut your mouth when you talk about Hellraiser.
Have you seen the last 3? They're on like 7.
I don't know. I'm just trying to catch up with all the what is Sharknadoes.
Oh God.
Oh, what they really don't need any more of it. What they really don't need any more of is Fast and Furious.
Oh, I agree. Those are too much.
Whenever I hear Fast and Furious, it reminds me of a car that I saw down my street one time, where it was someone who had just an average car. There wasn't anything special about it. It had all they'd done with it is it had a big exhaust nailed to it, and it was painted bright yellow with 2 black stripes across it. And on the side, it had Fast and Furious, and it's like, it's a Golf. It's a Golf. It's not a special Golf. It's not a Ram Golf. It's not a speedy Golf. It's not an injection, fuel injection version of one. It's just a bog standard car. Probably cost £4,000 or something. It wasn't. It was an old one.
That almost sounds like they tried to make car.
Fast and Furious, it's more like quickish and mildly irritated. Would have been closer.
Whenever I hear Fast and Furious, I just think about drag.
See, if you're talking about me and masturbation, yeah. Any other context? No, not at all.
Yikes. I can think of another one that sounds like diarrhea when you need to go somewhere.
There you go. So I'm just going to keep making it more and more awkward, just to kind of keep the conversation going. So
Everybody needs a hobby.
Or until Renee gets back, I'll just let her talk like all the time.
Oh God! All these times I keep every now and again. Maybe Nate Cunningham was right that when you get a bunch of atheists in the hangout, it usually ends up talking about sex and poo and vomit and
Yeah, but then again, his life is kind of boring. So
we have a fairly even distribution and diverse people. Really, only odd man out here would be Shadow Heathen. Aren't you an atheist?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I'll say
what are you
that.
talking about? There's only one Christian in this room, and that's Spackle.
I mean, more accurately, I'm an agnostic apatheist.
There's only
but,
one
yeah.
Christian in this room, and that's
What about Jade, guys?
no.
Oh no, Jim.
If we've learned anything at this point, it's Catholics don't count.
Oh.
Right.
Catholics
Jim and I don't count.
That was the rule. Except when they count.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Except
Only
with
for international
statistics.
census numbers.
Exactly. Yes.
The G-Man method.
Right.
Okay, hang on though. I got a question, Jade. What's the number between 3 and 5?
There's a lot of them. Do you mean the integer between 3 and 5?
Yes.
That would be 4.
Okay, see, Catholics do count.
Oh.
There you go.
I see what you did there.
I'm gonna just make a timestamp of that and link it to G-Man. He will spend days trying to figure that one out.
Look, he showed me he could cross the street. All right, he's plenty smart.
Hey, he told us all about how scissors descend from iron and have a common ancestor with.
I absolutely loved that clip. Where he starts off, he holds up like a dollar bill and goes, "I can prove that this shares a common ancestor with the tree because of what it's made out of. It's made out of wood."
Except it isn't.
Yeah, no, it isn't.
Except for
like,
the trees.
A, no, you couldn't, and B, even if you could, if we take the most charitable interpretation, no, you couldn't.
And also,
Which is out of wood.
and also, it comes down to the fact that, G-Man, trees don't give birth to paper.
Right.
No. The best part about that is if you take what he means by common ancestry there, and basically that common ancestry just means that if everything is made of a common material, then it has a common ancestry. Evolution is true or whatever. All terrestrial life is carbon-based.
Right.
So all life is related, and all life has a common ancestor, which is exactly what he's trying to object to in that statement.
And we're also then related to coal.
So
And
even
diamonds.
when he's wrong, he's somehow doubly wrong, and at the same time, right.
Does that mean I'm literally a diamond in the rough?
Oh yes, Jim, it does.
You're just
Very, very rough. Yes.
Yeah.
What are all these fucking GIF images?
I'm a senior non-commissioned officer. Of course, I'm rough.
That don't mean shit.
This is a set I labeled Giftstravaganza, which I made for when I was in a hangout with Pew.
Why? Because it's just so much going on. What's going on?
That's like there's a guy turned to a Super Saiyan and he's fucking striking with lightning and instant transmission. Daffy Duck he's fiddling with some Irish dude, and Elsa is doing something. She increased the destruction spill. Oh, I saw.
Daffy Duck.
I'm playing Skyrim right now. That's awesome.
That's
I'm
funny.
sorry. Daffy Duck fiddling with an Irishman or suit you?
Oh, that's not just an Irishman. That's Mickey Rooney.
It is.
It's also Donald.
It is. I don't know. Whatever. The ducks.
Oh yeah, that is Donald.
So what is the bottom right corner? Who's the guy on fire? Who's the guy shooting shit? Where are they at?
This is I believe an opening sequence from Police Squad.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
The old show Police Squad.
I can't see like the bottom of it because it's the panels down there. So I just see the guy on fire, a guy jumping out the window.
Okay,
the guy-
guys. So about those ass goblins.
Okay, let me.
By the way, hi Scott. How was it voting for
That,
Niggers?
that description made me want to kill myself.
Oh, I didn't mean
I'm
to do
wasting my
that.
time trying to write stories, and that's
So you
already a
read
book.
the broadcast.
I mean,
Sorry,
if you can get
stop.
a book fucking printed that has that, like I should
No,
just
no,
shit on the
no, no,
paper.
no. You're talking about printed. This is EPUB. You can EPUB anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's right. What's his face has a book? Crazy Pants, Australia. Show your tits. Beasley.
Rob Beasley.
Beasley, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, see, I have to.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. ID has an EPUB book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, Mr. ID has a book. That's
I can't listen to Mr. ID's voice. He makes me want to punch my monitor.
There's
you
also
don't have to listen to his
Raspberry.
voice. You just have to
Lyrical
read the
Orion
reviews.
even has a EPUB'd book.
No, she fucking does. Don't lie to me.
Yes, she does.
Don't lie to me.
Ask D about it. She's read
Come
it.
on. Don't D. Come on. Really?
Yeah.
Is it how to? What is it? What could she possibly write about? How to lose your gag reflex in 12 hours? Like what is on her mind that needs to be written down?
So in California, I live in the White Crafts version of it, which is called Riverside. And I wanted to talk to you about my memoirs. Actually, hang on. Actually, she doesn't just talk like that. I'm sorry. She does.
My
she
gosh, you
sexes-
had it almost dead on though. That hurt.
She sexes it up a little bit. She's like, so the time when me and Steve got it on.
Oh God.
Oh, okay. I'm going to get sick now. Stop that.
You
Does
know,
anybody
Bring Renee back.
Collection of
Bring Renee
Facebook.
back.
Bring Renee back.
I think the most interesting thing I've ever seen with Lyrical Orion was
Was
when
the case.
J.D. Kane was talking to her and trying to nail down what her position was. And so she would ramble on for about 5 minutes. And JD would say, okay, so it's like this. And she would say, no. And then would go ramble on for another 5 minutes. And like, okay, so it's like this. And, and it's like, no. And it's like, for fuck's sake. It's like jelly to the wall, trying to understand what she believes.
This one time, Cliff was naked and he was having sex in a live hangout.
I don't
and
think that's true.
It was so funny. Oh, wait. What do you mean? You're not open to this?
Oh, the Jello thing. Yeah.
I'm gonna actually watch that again. That shit was hilarious. It's like I'm surprised Annabelle didn't go nuclear, but then again, Renee had it down packed, so I think she had to.
Renee was
Speaking
pretty
of
hot.
which, watching things again, their drag. Aravine, if you still have it, wants you to link her to the clip of Shannon going halfway down Captain Morgan's and ranting about G-Man.
Oh my gosh! It
Oh,
was
when she came on my channel?
Ravine also wants on the stream, so I'm probably going to leave.
I had to find. Like I've been mentioning hangouts that I had with people, because I mentioned like 3 with Tommy, and I can't remember what any of them were called. He's like, I don't remember that. I'm like,
and the old clip where she was like slapping herself in the face with the lettuce dripped in ranch dressing.
Wait.
oh, it's Shani?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yes.
think she deleted that channel if I'm not mistaken. I have
Oh,
to check. Like that was just odd. I was like,
that
Shani,
was
like,
so great. It was like watching a manatee. Was it a manatee? It was like a sea cow.
It was like
I
a female
watched the
Brett
sea-
Keane.
No, I watched this. I don't like Brett Keane. I do not find Brett Keane entertaining, but I do
I find him
find
sexy.
Shani funny as hell. I can't help it. She is funny.
oh yeah, no, we
Cheers,
watched Shani in
Speckle.
this household. Yes, Shani is a household name in the Dragnon household.
Oh, shit, Speckle. My nose is all screwed up now. I was taking a drink when you said that. I had juice coming out of my fucking nose.
Yes.
So
Well, that's because you're open to certain things. That's just natural.
I think for hangout moments that are just like absolutely were just madness. I think Talking Shit Tuesday with Sugar.
Oh yeah,
Shaking the baby.
that
Oh,
is
the baby.
like
Oh,
everyone I talk to.
Midnight. Can we make room for Renee? Because Renee has something to say about this. Like, I'm serious. She was there.
She says
knows.
one more sexy thing. I'm flying to fucking wherever the hell she's at. Scotland, or was it Ireland? Which
Renee, get in here. We made room specifically for you.
Scotland, then fly to
Right.
Scotland. Have a fight to the death with Angus. Increase my harem.
Increase your harem? Who's in your harem?
Just one. Just a
Does
harem of one.
Mrs. Drag know this?
Doesn't matter.
Is
Harem of
Mrs.
one.
Is Mrs. Drag open to new things? Because she's pretty.
She is.
She's pretty hot. I'm saying.
She is. Well, I wouldn't have married her if she wasn't. Could you really see me with an ugly chick? No. See, they have to be at least better looking than me.
No, when I met Mrs. Drag, I was
So you
like,
take pride in the reacher then.
and the
Nice.
fact that she plays games. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just like
see?
plus.
Yeah. Now, if I could get her to do other
that a
things.
woman that played games was considered a bad thing. How weird. How times change. Okay, that was a horrible joke, but ask goblins.
All right, Renee, you're on camera, by the way, just so. I mean, I like it when you're on camera. I just was letting you know.
I got it. Okay, now what?
So we were talking about the time with Sugar and shaking the baby.
Oh Lord.
I
Yeah?
was saying probably the most incredible hangout I've ever been in. It was
Sugar, put
probably
down
also
the baby.
times where I genuinely where I genuinely saw JD have absolutely no idea what to do.
Well, no one in that room had any idea what to do or what to say, and except for Gus.
God. It got weirdly hypnotic when she was like swinging the baby like a pendulum.
The baby's crying. I don't know why. So Sugar calls us like villains and that we ruined her life and all sorts of weird stuff.
I don't know. I only see her once in a blue moon, and she's still mad. She's angry. I'm like, Sugar, just be
she's
my
so
friend.
angry. You know, who is she
Sugar.
under now? Did she change her name?
Yeah.
I don't know. She won't give me 5 minutes though.
She changed it like 3 other times, and I've followed her for like 2 of
Rebel
them,
for
and now I don't know what it
Jesus?
is now.
Yeah, it was she says, and she was doing a show with Winston of all people, because I guess Winston would have her.
Okay, so okay, I'll forget. I keep forgetting we got so many new people here. All right, let's just do a recap of the bunny boiler. All right.
This is intense.
Somebody else do it.
Okay, so actually, Renee, you're really good at this. You want to do it?
Wait. Okay. So it
Yes.
all started with a
Say it
post
sexy.
about. It all started with a post about Volkswagens that had nothing to do with Sugar. And Scott
my
and
God.
Annabelle are scuffling with one another on this post, and all of a sudden Sugar comes in and she's like, and I don't understand why he won't give me attention about my relationship, and everything's falling apart, and I'm so in love, and everyone's going, what? Because at this point there's no clue what she's going on about.
Yeah, wasn't
And
she basically accusing Annabelle of like getting between her and Mark?
That
Well,
was an
yeah.
accusation.
Which is
yeah,
weird
it kind
because
of works into that.
thread where Annabelle and I were having like this huge, like duking it out, and I mean a bunch of
But
people
none
who
of-
I didn't want to leapt to my defense, and Sugar was by far the worst.
None of it had anything to do with Sugar. And the post had nothing to do with Scott and Annabelle. It was just, the way things work on G+. And Sugar just starts laying it all out there. And then she's like, I don't know why everybody's in my business. And we're going, wait, what are you talking about? So, of course, I mean, it attracts everybody like magpies. And we now have everybody in the community on this post, going like, this is awful. Please do more. And so Sugar, because it's at the same time that Rob Beasley is having his third meltdown. What's the third one at that point?
Yeah, I believe so.
Sorry, a third meltdown that week.
Hang on,
it was
though. Was this the get your tits out thing?
The show me your tits. Yes, it was at the same time as that.
Okay.
Right.
He should, he
So-
should get in contact with Lyrical. She'd be perfectly happy.
Nah, bro. We're not gonna do that today. No. Mm-mm.
Anyway, stop.
Some people have sight.
Hang on, Renee, please.
Yeah, so Mark is like, it wasn't that big of a deal, and I found out that you're got all these other guys and stuff, and we're just gonna leave it here and we're gonna walk away. And Sugar starts, I demand 5 minutes. You will talk to me. And she's popping up in every external hang chat. I mean, just everywhere. So JD is like, we're gonna make a TST about it. Come on, Sugar. And it all fits in pretty closely. And Sugar's sitting there, and she's you can hear the baby in the background. And the more upset and like violent that Sugar would get with her reaction to everything, the more upset the baby would get. And at one point, I mean, you swear that she's just swinging this kid around, and Deidre's all like, Sugar, if you just want to bring it down a notch, this poor kid.
I was trying to talk her down. I'm like, obviously you're upset, and I totally understand you're upset, but we, eventually I'm like, you need to get off the internet.
So then after that TST, it was the Benny, the yellow ball, brings Sugar into an off-air hangout under her thing with Mark, and she's like, I will have my pound of flesh. I will have my 5 minutes. And I think the footage of that got lost on one of Beasley's like 500 channels. I don't know. That's about it in a nutshell.
It might have been the biggest train wreck I had ever seen. There's been train wrecks, but that one was really insane. That was off the rails. And then it even got even worse when we had an off-air hangout. We were all chilling, and all of a sudden she snuck in under but a very account. It was so creepy.
Yeah, I had no idea that she had blown up Mark's messages, and because he had showed me, I was like, "Oh, this bitch is crazy." Good thing there's an ocean between you.
So he did a PDF of all of the messages and the emails and stuff, and it was like when you watch those nice guy, nice girl Reddit videos or whatever, it was like one of those. It was every 2-3 minutes calling, messaging, and there'd be one that was like, "That's it. I'm gonna sue you, and I hate you, and I'm gonna destroy you." And the next one is like, so I've got this sexy body stocking on, and I just really want to have you in my mouth. And it's like, what kind of bipolar weird off the wall, like from moment to moment, just switching, and then they go back to, I hate you, I'm gonna kill you. It's a good read. I really recommend it.
And then a response 3 minutes later is, I just got off the toilet. What happened?
This is why they invented meds, y'all.
I think Chaswald was trying to defend the wrong side too. If I remember right.
No, he jumped in basically to take swings at Annabelle.
Yeah, because originally it started with the buggy thing. What the Volkswagen?
Yeah, it was the Volkswagen.
And then I did something where I kept arguing with her, and then apparently she kept coming back at me, and I stubbornly thought that she would shut up if I just kept coming back at her.
You, Prudent, are the one that got me in trouble because it was her and Scott arguing, and then Prudent. This is the first 3 comments of this thread. It was Scott Geerton or Gertens. Scott G was arguing with Annabelle, and it was the weirdest fight ever because usually, it was calmer, and I can't even remember what it was about, media or something stupid.
Yeah,
and there was Volkswagen involved, and freaking then Prudent somehow makes a point, then tags me in because it's apparently a wrestling match. And Annabelle at the time when we're better friends, and she's kind of volatile. And then Annabelle's like blowing up my phone. I'm on the Queen Mary. I am literally on the Queen Mary in Orange County, and I'm on a tour, and my phone's going. Did you say this? Did you see that? Well, Prudence says this, and and like show yourself on this thread, and I'm like, what? And so I'm like, what? And then it just snowballs into the strangest thing, and Chaz and Wayne, who I can't stand, they were taking shots at Annabelle, and freaking all of a sudden Sugar sees an opportunity, and she's like, everybody's hurting Annabelle, now's my chance. Annabelle, you ruined my life. Wall of text, no paragraphs, like wall of text. It's Sugar.
Had I known it was going to lead to that, I never would have posted what I posted. I don't even really remember.
Well, the one thing you have to give crazy people credit for is they can really write long-ass manifestos.
Oh my god.
the genesis of the argument was Annabelle and I had a discussion, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks prior to that thread, in that time frame, where I just sort of made some offhand comment about the media frequently lying about things, like it's sort of a common occurrence, and she kind of got defensive about the media, and then it was a thread I think that Wayne Hudson posted, and
no, it was the penguin guy.
No, Mike the penguin.
And I made just a snide comment about, look, the media clearly misleading everyone again, and that apparently was the wrong thing to say.
And how I got dragged into it was because Sugar's got this obsession when she was gonna nail some Brit, and she's like, "Oh, okay, so you're moving to the UK and stuff. How do you do it?" And I was like, and I didn't know all of the other background. I didn't know she was crazy and stuff. And I was just talking, and I made some kind of comment about, okay, well, tonight's date night, because we used to watch movies over Skype. And the next thing I know, I'm getting a thing from Mark that's like, why am I getting sent these videos in this where Sugar's telling me that you've recommended that we have date night to fix our relationship? I'm going, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
She also recommended conjugal visits, just every so often.
Right? Oh my God.
I mean, the problem Sugar has got is that she needs men to feel good about herself, which is a real shame.
I mean, you could just say she needs men, full stop. Like,
Well,
really,
yeah.
anything else after that's just like, extra.
I mean, I remember having an off-air hangout with her, trying to convince her to because she was effectively. I mean, I was looking through my G+ feed, and because she was, on my friends list at the time, and I just get pictures of semi-naked women, which is a bit surprising.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what's his name? Isaiah Sloan would have loved some of the stuff she was putting out.
They didn't have enough ass, but
yeah, no, he wouldn't like that.
And it's like, why, and so she'd gone through this whole thing that was, you're talking about right now. And I was trying to help her to try and fix this reputation that she had, and say, look, if you do things like that, you're just going to lose everything, And so I said, look, the first thing you need to do to repair this reputation of yours is to stop posting pictures of semi-naked women. And she said that she does it. She did it because she wanted to thank people for following her. And it's like,
that's what men want.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. That's it. That's what men want. And it's like, but
I can tell you this,
so and she just give me a sec.
Sure.
And she was trying to explain how, effectively she needed the gratification of men to feel good about herself. And I said, look, my suggestion would be stop doing it. Well, I'll stop doing it if it'll please you. It's like, this is exactly what I'm trying to say. It's like, no, don't do it to please me. Do it to please you. Do it to rescue a reputation for yourself. To repair a damaged reputation for yourself. And she just couldn't see it. Like I say, I just gave up in the end.
So it makes me think, like in that PDF that I was talking about, because there'd be these moments and stuff where she's like, I'm not a feminist. I'm the kind that wants to put on a pair of heels and make a sandwich for my man and be waiting for him. And then he'd ignore a message or two. And then the next one would be like, I will not be ignored. What kind of bitch do you think I am? And it would go back and forth from this like docile, like I'll crawl to you, honey, whatever you want, to like that's it. Your pet is boiling on the stove. Like it would flip just back and forth.
The problem with Sugar, as I see it, is yes, there are people out there that have relationships in her head, but she's already planning the kids' college before saying hello.
Yeah, I don't know like how this came about, but I happened to be in numerous hangouts with Sugar where I was not the center of her attention, and I can confidently say that I have seen at least 4 or 5 distinctly different personalities that are all clearly tailored to try to be attractive to the guy she's talking to.
Oh yeah, she tried it with me a bit. Like when she tried to, like, there was the aftermath a bit, and she wanted to try and convince everyone that she was not crazy. And so I gave her some advice. I sat and listened to her, and someone was commenting on how I was able to like tame the shrew, so to speak. And I was like, well, you know, I just did my best to listen to her and be receptive. And I thought things were okay. And then she went back and told folks that everything was honky dory, and then she went off the fucking rails again. So I really don't know what the
I don't know. I think as a general rule, if somebody's running around from hangout to hangout trying to prove to people that they're not crazy, they usually do the opposite.
Drag is smoothing it over a little bit because it was one of those Beasley chat things, and Sugar she woke me up with like pop ding at like 5 a.m. in the morning, just going crazy in that chat. So I went off on her, and it set Sugar off again. And Drag comes in, and he's like going to soothe everything over. Drag spent like 4 or 5 hours talking to her. It was forever. And they come back, and it's this whole new Sugar. And it lasted all of maybe, I don't know, 2 hours tops.
Wow, that's a lot longer than I expected.
I didn't realize I was in there that long. I was just listening to her because she was fascinating. Like there was I'm not even gonna lie. I was intrigued by her level of craziness, and I felt safe because she was many states away. So yeah.
Mark thought he was safe.
So,
well, you know.
On a side note, I mean, you know, Sugar was fairly manipulative in some ways because she wrapped Rob Beasley around her finger. And if you don't know who Rob Beasley is, he's a crazy man. He's an agnostic, Gnostic. He's a Gnostic atheist. So he thinks that he's enlightened. He'll talk about the good wolf and the bad wolf, and he thinks he's especially enlightened, and he's totally crazy and maybe schizophrenic. I don't know. He got locked up, actually.
If I can sneak in
He
for 1
got
second.
locked up live on air.
Yes.
On the risk of promoting another channel while I'm here, I do actually have a couple discussions with him on the Shadow Heathen channel. And for those that actually send special requests, I do not have the video in which he was taken away live, but it is there for the morbidly curious as an unlisted video.
I like watching that video. Makes me feel safe.
Morbidly curious. There you go.
Got hauled away live on air.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, you hear them come in, talk to him, and then you hear him kind of arguing with them as they slowly pull him away from the computer.
After plugging his book.
Metal Hair Fan just said Sugar was actually nice to me, and I put him in timeout. I'm kidding. I just thought it would be funny.
I just when you were talking about Beasley and being enlightened, I remembered this. This is some intrigue monger.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, but Sugar could be really, really nice.
She weaponized him though. Remember, like he was kind of in his own little corner, and we're like, oh, poor Rob Beasley, he's crazy. Somebody should help him.
Oh yeah, because he would come after folks. Sugar told me about you.
Yeah, Sugar told me about you, Renee. Sugar told me about you.
Yeah.
Oh, not a nice guy.
He got.
It was like 2 months of stalking him. We'd keep blocking him, and he'd keep making new accounts.
That was when Rob's attention turned to us, and it was weird because he had all those like kids coming in and out of his hang, and he was talking to them about like how everyone needed to masturbate.
Yeah, he finally got locked up again. He was teaching a 15-year-old how to masturbate live on. I was like,
show me your tits, Renee. Just show me your tits. You know, what does this turn you on? I'm like, no.
Actually, what he was claiming at the time was that a man asking a woman to show their breasts, women are just naturally compelled to show them.
Oh, we know greatly about that. I have an off-air that's saved where he is pressing me and Renee saying our no's mean yes. And now, it is a half an hour of that.
You know, there's a great live on air hangout of him inquiring Hannah about her tits.
Oh wow!
Hannah just ripping into him as a result of that.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
The blackmail, what led up to the video in which he ended up being dragged away while it was being recorded. It was a little bit of a trap video. He approached the woman that was doing my editing at the time. Her name's Rose. And just because she was in a hangout with me prior to this and off air, and her and I were talking about the book, and he pops in and sees there's a woman in the room and it's show us your tits kind of thing. And we're like, nobody's going to show, and this and that. And Rose was like, no, I'll do it. I'm like, what? She's like, oh, I'll go into hangout with him. I'll go into private hangout. And I'm like, okay, we're going to set this up so I can friggin' record it.
So she actually showed him her tits?
No, absolutely not. But she wanted to sit there and listen to him try to convince her.
Oh,
yeah, so Drag, I sent you that link where he's like, so actually when you say no, it means yes. I mean, it was like ridiculous.
I think I listened to it back in the day.
It's not only that. The problem is, it's not only that, it's almost tantamount to saying this guy is a rapist, isn't it?
He's
just disconnected from reality. He's bipolar, incredibly bipolar. And what happens is, in some cases, when they're having massive episodes, things like sexual norms and this kind of stuff just could go out the window.
I wonder how did he woo his wife?
Shows you tits. Shows you tits.
No doubt. She showed him, you're mine. You're mine. We're getting married to you. I just.
So I don't want to be like. I don't want to be too much of a downer, but it's very possible that he may have been medicated when he wooed his wife.
I would hope so.
I wonder if she was the one that was medicated.
Voluntarily?
But
that wasn't where I was going. Actually,
yeah, Shadow RS.
And now we've
tried
moved
to
into
school
the Bill
you
Cosby
on
references.
bipolar. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Oh, I wouldn't know anything at all about bipolar. No. Absolutely not. I mean, that diagnosis in my youth was clearly fictional. The inch and a half worth of paperwork I have discussing the matter from varied hospitals. No. That couldn't be talking about me.
There's some messed up people here.
Well, if we've learned anything from Matt Slick, it's that diagnosis is easy to come by.
Yeah, that's true enough.
They come and they go.
Why did you learn? Why did you use the word "learn" and Matt Slick in the same sentence?
I'm on the spectrum. So
Because sarcasm is a thing.
Matt Slick
back when Matt Slick was going around saying that he was diagnosed with Asperger's, which was some guy at a cocktail party.
It was a lady.
Some lady said to him, "Oh, that kind of sounds like Asperger's."
And this part of the discussion is Cliff's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
No. The story is he was on some sort of a thing on Catalina Island with a group of people.
Who the fuck made this?
So, I don't know.
This is during the Rob Beasley thing.
He was on Catalina Island with a group of people. And some woman there said, "Oh, you remind me of my son. He has, Asperger's syndrome." And so then he somehow got checked out by a doctor. And from what I understand, he basically said to the doctor, "Do you think I have Asperger's?" And the doctor said, "Yeah, could be." And so from there, he now has Asperger's syndrome, even though his symptoms don't match it whatsoever. And he's never been professionally diagnosed.
Yeah,
That's
that's the story that he presented after Cliff confronted him. And the stories prior to that are very much different.
Yeah,
All right,
and that's his excuse. That's his excuse for being an asshole. However, if you don't remember correctly, Andrew Rappaport congratulated him for curing his Asperger's syndrome.
That's right. You've overcome your Asperger's.
Yes.
But
he no longer has it.
So
Andrew Rappaport is the same guy who told us that there were blue giant stars in the Oort cloud.
Yes.
But don't
He is-
question his knowledge.
He is
He's
so
also the same
stupid.
guy who said that he had once voluntarily served someone else's prison term.
What?
What?
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, and TMM had said that, pointed out to him that the idea of vicarious atonement doesn't really make sense because it kind of eschews the whole idea of moral accountability. And he obviously invents a story where he asks a judge if he could serve someone else's prison sentence. And the federal judge agrees that, yeah, you can serve their prison term if they agree to it.
That would never happen.
Yeah, which isn't lawful.
No.
He must have been channeling his inner mattress girl.
Computer-generated girlfriend tells me, get ready for a massive dislikes for all eternity. Please do it. It'll still put us on trending. Your hate feels me.
If they change the ratio, or is it still 10 dislikes to 1 like?
Yeah, but I mean, anything helps.
Oh,
Hi, y'all.
Jackie, those hurts are going to stop if you look up what my avatar means.
No, I know what your avatar means.
It kills me that Andrew Rappaport has his own ministry better than a box.
You're gone, Roboto.
Yeah, I don't hear you at all, Jade.
Okay.
What happened?
Be back in a second.
Freddie is playing with the internet again.
Nicola, I get the reference even better, I think, than Jackie, because that's freaking Dragon Ball Z. That's the fusion.
Yep.
Oh, that's horrible.
Actually,
I got that. No, yeah, I got that.
I've already given him shit about that. I give him a lot of shit about that.
Oh no. And wasn't Jade trying to refresh?
Yeah.
It's even worse since I have that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You
need a throat punch for that.
Well, it's kind of the expression that people give me when, like, if you see someone like look at you with disgust when they see that shirt, you know they have good taste in television. So.
Oh, that's a fair point. It's like a filter.
Is that Gus Boulanger?
Hello.
Guys!
Jackie.
It's not Wednesday, don't ask.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
I can't stop looking at the panda. The trash panda, the raccoon.
Yeah, they're Chinese red pandas. They're little.
No.
They're more closely related to raccoons than they are pandas.
Oh no! Kevin and I call them trash pandas.
And trash bandits.
Yeah, the GIF I have is definitely regular raccoons.
Ghetto pandas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I love them. I love them so.
Pandas.
There's 3 of them. There's there's a little family of them that live in a tree near my apartment, and I wish they go away. But
You'll think they're adorable if one of them with fucking rabies ever jumps you.
oh, what? They almost fell out the fucking tree.
Did they have rabies? Did they all have rabies? And they're not like.
My uncle used to have a
flesh. We must eat
raccoon.
flesh.
Wait, Kevin, what are you doing?
I'm trying to
Stop putting
hear.
that in my ear.
I'm trying to
Hello.
Was he putting in her ear? What happened?
Right now they're like Siamese twins, like trying to like fight over the headphones.
Something's going in the ear. Says Gus, you are my favorite character from TST. When's the last time Gus has been on TST?
Well,
a week ago.
Really?
Gus, how do you recall the shaken baby syndrome?
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Best reaction ever.
I just think that people should just listen to the other side of the story. And if you went shaky, 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 and if you just would only listen shaky, 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 and if you, because I can't even realize shaky, 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 shaky.
Put the child down before it gets concussion.
Shake your baby.
The kid's like, "Blah!" And finally, Dee had to step up and say, "Honey, you're driving the baby cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and you're probably shaking its Formamin. You're probably shaking its Formamin Magnum open with your bare hands."
Oh god.
Yeah. I actually watched that. I tracked that down on some mirror site again about 3 months ago, and I just had myself a little chuckle. Because between her shaking the baby and her jumping up and down and bouncing back and forth in the camera and all the popping and crackling of the microphone, so I wonder it didn't go away there with a motion sickness headache.
I found for a while there it was very hypnotic. Like she had the baby was swinging like a pendulum.
Yeah, well, Mark Unoya said she was carrying it like a rugby ball, and I was like, that's about it.
At times.
But people shouldn't.
Are we talking about sugar?
No, what did Annabelle call her? Sucrose?
Yeah, something like that. Saccharin.
I'm taking the laughing as a yes.
Yes.
Usually it was just that bitch.
Yeah, well, fake sweetness. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's fake this and fake that, and Annabelle could go on for quite some length about exactly what was wrong with sugar.
I'm
It
very
was
sad
like
that I have a falling out with her because she's so funny, Annabelle.
Annabelle's moods towards you or towards anybody are usually like the seasons, right? Spring, summer, winter, and fall. And just wait, because it'll be spring again. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I like the woman. Like, I don't care what people say. I love her.
Oh no, I do too. I love that fierce anger. I don't know what it. Well, anytime the woman gets like fiercely angry, I don't know what it. Like, hey, how you doing, Renee? By the way, how you doing?
How you doing, Renee? We need a compilation of this. I think Renee, Shanna, Rocky, and Annabelle could all have some beautiful compilations of that. The fierce anger.
Oh Lord.
I wish Annabelle and Shanna Mounty would do a fusion dance, make one fiery, angry woman.
Why do they have to dance to do that?
Well, that's how you fuse. That's how you become one.
Is that how that works?
Yeah. It's magical.
You're not allowed to talk to Rocket Ronnie anymore. It's starting to warp your head.
Seth Trollins has cursed thee. A curse upon you. I've actually been cursed before. Actually, seriously, by a witch. She literally cursed me, and I said,
there's a lot of that.
And how about that? You're still here. One would almost think that this magic stuff isn't real.
No, it was the weirdest thing.
California seems to be a hub for a lot of woo-woo curse shit. Someone I know that lives in that fucking state invited me to this Facebook group where it's a bunch of women who claim I'm friends with them on Facebook, not for that reason, but it's someone else that we don't know, and she invited me to this group because she wants to convince me that this shit works. I was like, all right, I'm not going to say anything in the group, just going to watch. And these women are taking candlesticks and they're putting like dollar bills.
No. I don't like where this is going.
And they're typing up, I want to get a promotion at my job, and my ex-boyfriend is shitty. I hope his penis falls off. Can someone tell me the ingredients for such a spell? And they'll just put in like just random stupid shit. Like I wonder if I tell them to put like paprika and like 3/4 of a chicken and like some distilled water and just make a really stinky like fart bomb or something. Like if I just fuck with them, would they actually believe it?
Sriracha.
That reminds me of the
answer is yes.
Episode where Theo wanted a witch doctor to get his girlfriend back, and Bill ends up like pouring peanut butter and cooking oil all over his hands and rubbing it in his face and then leaving him there. You guys ever see that one?
I don't remember that one. I need to find that one. But I mean, shit, it's the same concept. Shit in the bowl.
So what's the latest? What's the latest news on Brother Hezekiah, aka Steve McRae, who looks more like Moses every time I see him?
I think he's lost it. It's unfortunate that
Been tugging on the hair on his chin so long it's pulled down out of his head and it's gone down right through his head.
I think
into
it's
his chin.
unfortunate that he doesn't see the value of some of the people that are in here.
See the chat.
What? What chat?
What the fuck did that?
Not the side chat.
The great mistake.
Look, we said we were gonna leave. We were supposed to leave this shit alone.
Someone
What
shut
chat?
up with that.
The outside chat. We were supposed to leave shit alone. You know what? I
I'm
want
sorry,
to.
but that's funny.
That's too. Oh my god.
Hangouts! How I missed the 99 fucking chats. Which chat again? Is it?
It's the out chat. Someone made
What you mean?
a
The one on the YouTube page?
all it says is the Great Mistake Community, and it says "damn."
Screenshot of that. Okay. Yeah, we said we were gonna leave it alone.
All right, we'll leave it alone. We don't want to kill Steve the way I killed Nadia.
What the great
Oh, please.
Excuse me. We had an off-air hangout today when someone we were playing the game. Was it Kill Fuck Mary?
Oh, that's the best game.
Sorry, let me.
So Nadia was one of those choices. It was Nadia.
Yeah.
Nadia.
And Nadia sometimes I've chosen, depending on the choice.
Well, I forget what her bike
Nadia
chose.
over Matt Bell.
It was Nadia and MK and someone else.
Oh my god, please don't speak about this again. I was thoroughly
Would you like to walk into a closet with a canister of sarin gas with? Yeah, sure.
Oh, I've
keep
played
talking.
this so many times. It's hilarious.
You played it? Okay. You want to do this? You really want to do this? All right. Okay, cool. Let's do this. All right, cool. So, Nadia, Shani, and Tommy Hall.
Oh,
right.
Okay. I would kill Tommy Hall.
Well, that was quick.
It was, and now the choices are Mary and fuck.
Quatus. Choose carefully.
Oh, do I want to marry Nadia or do I want to marry Shani?
No, it's do I want to fuck Nadia or do I want to fuck Shani and then run screaming into the night?
Can you use one of them to trap a wild animal that you'd be happier fucking?
I guess I would marry Nadia and just have to be a sugar daddy all
Imagine
my
Nadia,
life.
fucking Nadia at the altar.
Nadia, I gotta marry you. I better get a better job so I can support you because you're that kind of gal.
Excuse me, I wear pants.
Okay,
Excuse me.
to be
So
fair,
that means that I would be stuck with Shani, I guess. but
Individual coursework.
I don't think I'll survive the ordeal, so it'll be okay.
Individual coursework.
Like, do you think I'd survive? I bet I'd die in the process.
I mean, you could fuck Shani. I mean, she'd absorb you, but still, you know.
Yeah, I figure I won't live through it.
Shani would be like,
Bear in mind that Shani has a borderline personality. As in-
Doesn't Shani have a
That's why
fresco of Han Solo on her wall and call it her favorite decoration?
There was something about an axe. I figured that might be involved in it. I don't know.
I think you're confusing that with G-Man. Axing questions.
Excuse me.
Gus.
Oh wait, are gathered here together.
Nadia, where are you? To marry you.
Yes, Scotty. What's going on?
The GIF I have on my screen at the moment, that's the fusion dance.
Oh.
Thank you for pronouncing that correctly, by the way.
What?
Pronouncing what correctly?
GIF.
GIF.
Oh,
yeah. Usually people say GIF. Yeah.
I know of no
It's
one who
not
says GIF.
Peanut butter. Damn it.
Like Jiffy.
We are Skippy.
You want to know why I threw Tommy Hall off the cliff right away? I think he's freaking
Actually,
mean.
I'd go with Jif on it.
I think he's freaking mean.
He's gotten better. I had a hangout with him. I think it was last night.
I still remember. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I still remember that song he wrote to get Ozymandias into a debate with him. Remember that really trippy song?
So we showed that
Don't
to.
be scared.
We showed that to RSC. We said, RSC, let me show you something. Does this sound like
Will-
something you'd make to another straight man?
We'll
I think you know
rub
the
your
answer.
booty.
So now we need to make up one for Greg. Really fair.
I mean, you can do that. I'm just not going to talk to you ever again. I mean, that's just, that's
Oh.
okay.
He already did that to you, Drag.
No, the fuck he did not.
he thought he did something akin to that. He just thought that you were.
Oh, a tasty. No, see,
Yeah.
no, that's different. Like I actually was
That's
described,
hardly
like,
different. It was clear. It's clearly your voice. Just
He'd have to do it in a Marvin Gaye style, like Dragnot. Bring your chocolate love my way.
Negative.
Okay, so
Negative.
drag, are you really bisexual? Is this true?
No.
My little piggy loves your heart.
It's like my wife tried to imagine me gay, and she can't. I'm like, no, no.
that wasn't the question.
Oh, I'm
As any
crying.
good soldier will say, you're only gay in the field.
When you dance your dance of blackness on
It's
my
only gay
soul.
if you bite the
Oh
pillow.
my god.
Okay, so drag. If you had to choose,
Here we go.
Mary, Shag, and Cliff. Because it sounds a little bit better than Kill.
Why me?
We're getting hurled off the cliff, not you, Cliff.
Cliff's like, what? I haven't done nothing.
No way. For Drag's list, the choice is Shani, Sugar, and Lyrical.
The lyrical gangster.
Is
Murderer.
this an episode of Snog, Marry, or Murder?
Yeah, pretty much.
Give me some time.
Except
some time
nobody
on
in the side of the puddle says snog, Cliff.
Snog. Only Harry Potter fans.
See, the only reason I would consider like getting rid of Sugar is for my own fucking safety. Like that's it. Because I know at least Shani wouldn't be able to catch me. Yeah.
As far as
I don't think I have anything to worry about physically.
I want my chocolate. Try it. Of love.
My cat.
So,
Nebulizer.
Given that you don't want to touch Shani and you don't think you need to kill Shani, you'd marry Shani.
I'm not gonna hold on. Let me think about this. Hold on for a second.
See, lyrical is harmless, right? Like
Yeah, like she can't actually hurt you. She's just annoying.
Scotty and I were in a room once where Lyrical decided she was going to try to jump me.
Well,
like
Drag, if you find her annoying,
hey Scotty, you remember that when she tried to get all clever and stuff? She's like,
oh yeah.
Well, Gus, maybe it was you that tried something stupid, like just really stupid. And then I just basically did the conversational equivalent of fucking dropping a table on her head. And then she went, oh my God, like, I don't know where all the hostility is coming from. Like, oh my God.
That's the thing. I never know if it's like maliciousness that's just hidden under like Kardashian, or if it's actually like seriously angry.
No, she's like a coyote. She's vicious until you growl back at her, and then she rolls over and presents her fucking back, her tummy or whatever.
The first time I snapped at Lyrical, and I say the first time, the first time I snapped at Lyrical was me and Mark Unoya were in an epic battle, and many people think I was bleeding to death, but I was in an epic battle with Mark, and I was like, I will not give up, and we were arguing for, I don't know, it seemed like 40 minutes or something on Nadia's channel, and Mark's a staunch anti-theist, and I'm a Christian, and he's like, answer my questions, and we were
You two are having an actual discussion back and forth, engaging one another in some type of intellectual discourse.
Right.
And so how does Lyrical fit in this fucking picture?
So she comes in, she goes, okay, Mark, I just want a white knight for Deidre. Deidre, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna white knight for you and help you, okay? And I'm like, you get out of my grill. Like I just completely snapped on her,
So
and I was
she
like,
just
I don't
put
know
your
what to do.
buff.
Get between the yeah.
Just if you just feel my silky smooth labia against your argument, and everything will be happinesses.
I remember when she tried to say that you could, she had like magical powers or something, because she could get, if she put her finger on a penny and then put the penny with her finger on it against the wall for a while, she could get it to stay against the wall. And she tried to say this because of psychic powers. I swear to God. And then somebody with a thermal imaging camera basically went through and showed her, and she just kept saying, Can't I just have my fantasies? Can I have my fantasies, please? I have my fantasies.
What the hell is this?
Imbecile. You may have your
raise,
fantasy.
raise your hand if you've made.
I like
made
how the
Lyrical
impression of
cry in this
Lyrical is
room.
progressively becoming more like a Michael Jackson impersonation.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, if you push her, her sort of breathing gets shallow, and she starts to get like a stress reaction.
My
And
sexy
so,
voice. What are you talking about?
It's just I just don't I don't understand why everybody is so mean to me.
You know, you're just
The only time I've talked to her since the squeeze box was that post where she was thinking with her booty. You know the one, Deidre?
Posted half naked one. She posted on Facebook, and I think she posted on Google Plus. And I think I went to y'all. I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with her?"
I screen capped it and said, "What is she doing?"
You know you're in strange waters when sock accounts like, yeah, I got a picture of her naked. Want to see? I'm like, what?
You know
She
it's bad
posted
when that's the
picture.
first thing you meet before you even meet the person.
She posts
Hello.
this picture of her rear end and these little jean shorts, and she writes "just thinking" as the caption.
That's not what that is
And
usually
all you
going
hear
on.
is the starting of a chainsaw. And you look over and there's Renee going, "I'll be back in a minute." If only.
I think my weirdest encounter with her was after a TST. Everybody had disappeared. It was all there, and there was me and Lee, and I can't remember his name now. Anyway, so earlier in the week, I'd seen a picture that made me chuckle because it reminded me of her slightly, and it was a picture of a lady with a really low cut top. And written on the it was like a t-shirt, really low cut t-shirt, and written on it, it said, my face is up here, that's why I'm wearing this low cut top. And I thought it was funny. So what happened was Lyrical's in there, and I said, "Hey, I saw a t-shirt the other day, reminded me of you." I explained what it was. That was a mistake on my part.
Yeah, part of the problem is that normally your jokes involve PowerPoint to begin with, right? So it's one of those things where if somebody's not in the mood to be charitable, you know you're going to take it in the teeth.
Yeah. So anyway, so what happens is within a few minutes, next thing you know, she's basically trying to allure me, to say the least. So she's like moving the top around so I can see like the pinkiness of her bra, and you know, like she's playing with the breasts as if she's trying to make one big one or something. I don't know.
Make one big one.
Yeah, I know. Pushing them together, you know, like I say.
Yes, the uniboob.
Yeah.
Actually, in her case, it'd be one normal sized one.
Mono teeth. I don't know. Mono. She's already got one nipple on the top of her head. I don't know why the hell she's-
Why is it the way Cliff's describing it? It sounds like a nature video on the bird. Ruffles his feathers.
So I said,
British accent.
I said,
It kind of is a nature video. Anyway, go ahead.
So I said, Lyrical, I said, "Can you stop? Because, you know, you're trying to like arouse me or something. I don't think of you like that. You know, I don't like to think of my friends in that way unless I'm attracted to them, and that's not the way that I see you." So
There's a bucket of sadness being poured here that I just can't.
You're so sweet and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah.
You're just a sweetheart. I want to reward you with a picture of myself so that when you're sad inside, you can always remember that there's happiness everywhere. Also,
Yeah.
here's
Give
my
a shout
vagina.
out.
Except how now we went from Michael Jackson impersonation to Andy Dick.
I'm giving a shout out to all the dislikes. We have 22 dislikes. Keep it
Hell
up,
yeah.
guys. Keep it up. It
So
helps.
yeah, how many of them were when I got here? Because I bring all the dislikes to the yard. All the dislikes.
Nicola, I hate you.
Do the people not like you then?
You hate Reason.
I'm not going to read that out loud, but I hate you.
Well, we're still waiting on your answer to that question.
read from the book.
So Speckle, what's going on with the
Drag, Mary, Murder, drag, go.
What's going on with the downlight, Speckle? Have you sort of got a hate farm that you've been cultivating or something?
Someone's got a bot, and it's probably the same people that downvote other people's random videos lately.
Oh,
It's probably
yeah,
Beckle and Godless Girl.
Vackle?
I don't think Beckel does a bot. I don't know if he's smart enough.
So I've been cut off from all the goings on in the so-called great debate community, and nobody here wants to fill me in. I hate you all.
Well, we can let you off air about that.
Off air? What are you guys worried about? That he's gonna He's gonna say things. I mean, first of all,
No.
since when does this bearded tit fucking have the audacity to call what he does the great debate community?
Well,
actually, if I may, right quick, we're trying to keep from like dwelling on that in every goddamn hangout. But we did do 2 shuffles bitching about it. So
well,
as
I
well as TFC.
generally have. I mean, who's shuffle? I mean, is this a shuffle? Are we shuffling now? What is this?
No. This is the C word.
Okay.
More will be
All right.
explained later. I promise. I
Later.
promise. There's
Later.
yes. There's a reason. Trust me.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Whatever.
Trust me on this, Gus. There's a reason.
When you guys all pour milk on your toast, I don't know. Whatever. You're fucking make me sad.
Just trying to keep the peace.
Peace.
No, we're not trying to keep the goddamn peace. We're trying to keep from every
Peace.
goddamn hangout being about it. Sorry for shutting up.
I have an announcement to make. Guys, please downvote and subscribe. Please.
What are we fucking Nate? What's his name? Nate Dogg? What was his name? He used to go
You
like,
know-
watch, subscribe.
Oh,
You
Luke
know
Dog.
I already downloaded it.
Luke Dog.
Just like
Come in.
and subscribe.
Worldwide.
Are you talking about Nate Cunningham?
No,
Luke Dog.
Luke Dog.
No.
Do you remember? Okay. Do you
Tell
remember
us
the
about
guy
Nate
a
Dogg.
while ago when Beasley
The
was
guy-
around? The guy that thought he was some kind of fucking wrestler or some shit.
That's right.
That
Most
referred to himself
entertaining
in third
man in
person,
sports
and
entertainment.
yeah.
The guy who got catfished by Positively Godless.
Yep. He sure did. Oh, y'all don't know about that.
Oh, I must know now.
Oh,
don't
no.
Well, that reveal was something else. He reveals the prize, motherfucker.
No, Positively Godless is a great guy, but he's got a face like Gordon Ramsay met a fucking mail truck at high speed. No, that's just wrong.
Well, it turns out that good old Luke Dog had a taste for a certain type of women, so.
You don't say. You mean
Yeah.
perhaps
Well,
perhaps
you can't really even say women
perhaps
at
whose
that
age
point.
has barely got into the double digits. Is that what we're talking about here?
Oh, I remember this now. Yes.
Well,
Like,
they were
watch,
into the
subscribe.
double digits, but, just barely.
What I said,
Dislike,
barely in the double.
watch, and subscribe. Hit that little bell.
No, dislike. You got it backwards.
Just like it, damn it.
Yeah.
But did you say like that little Bell as opposed to Matt, who's a Matt Bell, who was a massive?
Speaking of old crevice head, has anybody spotted
Yeah.
him lately?
Oh yeah,
He got into it with Ned, didn't he, recently?
He did what to Ned?
Him and Ned got into it on MK's channel for a while back, a few days ago.
You know that?
Yeah,
that,
he's
you know?
been hitting it hard on MK's channel lately.
Yeah, Matt Bell got Ned to kind of lose his top. You could tell Ned was getting angry.
Well, because you can only insult someone, viscerally for so many times, while maintaining,
The interesting consequence of that is that Matt Bell goes into MK's Hangouts, and everything he says is so fucked up that eventually Ozzy feels prompted to join the Hangout and set the record straight. And so Ozzy has been frequently joining MK's Hangout just to explain why Matt Bell is wrong or why Darth Dawkins is wrong.
Oh boy.
See, I don't even bother arguing with Matt Bell anymore. I just tell him that everything he's saying just sounds like autistic screeching, and he goes away.
Well, I actually think Matt Bell's smart, and I think that he can be very helpful for theists, and he does share his knowledge. Unlike a lot of theists who are quote-unquote apologists, they hide the ball a lot, they have little secret clubs and stuff like that. He'll call you an idiot, but he puts everything that he knows or any resources or things that you think he doesn't know, but whatever he's pulling from, he puts it out there for anybody.
Yeah, that's like being beaten across the eyes with the phone book, though. I mean, yeah, thanks for the phone number, but my eyes.
The problem with Matt Bell is he's an extremely boorish personality who never shuts the fuck up, wrapped in an unintelligible accent.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the real problem is that whenever he joins a Hangout, it's immediately going to violate terms of service because whenever his avatar pops up when he talks, you just see a dick pic.
No, I thought that the vagina on his forehead was perpetually dry, so that made a miracle.
Listen, just because you happen to spot an X-wing flying down that crevice in his fucking head, being chased by 3 TIE fighters, doesn't mean that he's a fucking ugly-looking guy.
You know what I like
Yeah.
about him? Like, I mean, I think he's mean, but I like that when he gets a punch, he doesn't do the whole indignant thing like the Calvinists do. Like, oh, I can't believe you said a bad word. I don't know what to do. Oh my, I do declare. I guess I'm just gonna have to excuse myself from this argument because you can't act civilized. No, he feeds it back and then keeps going.
I do.
That's
I
true.
will say that. I will appreciate that about him because he's not like Veckel, where Veckel thinks that if he doesn't say a naughty adult word, then that's fine. But you could be a passive aggressive 13-year-old girl, and that's acceptable because you know what? Why not? You know.
Because I'm racist.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. He'll pull that shit with you. That shit works against you. That shit didn't work against me. He knows better to try that shit.
I don't know, man. The thing that bugs me about Matt Bell most is something that's I think is probably preposterous and kind of dumb, quite honestly. I think he needs to get some kind of like cabochon stone or something like that to put in that fold in his forehead so it looks like he has a third eye. I think he's just missing out on life by not doing that.
Get some polyfill in there. Get somebody who knows how to do some mud work and fucking just get polyfill of that shit right off.
No,
Who has something like that is I liked this guy a lot back in the 80s and the early 90s and stuff. Ethan Hawke, have you seen him recently? He's got this serious crease going in his forehead. It's just the way his line works.
The same thing with Jason Priestley. He's got like fucking the rolling hills of Pennsylvania. It starts right at his eyebrows.
Yeah, if you know Ethan Hawke from Reality Bites, he's got quite a big crevice
Say it.
going on in his forehead.
Are we talking like Training Day, Ethan Hawke?
His brain is
Yes.
shrinking and pulling the skull in with it.
A lot of pictures they use a makeup to try to get rid of it, but it actually when he's just plain taking a picture, he's got a very deep one.
Are we still talking about someone's forehead?
Yes.
I don't know. This might be encouraging skull fucking. I'm not sure though.
Might be why I'm getting a little bit aroused.
I think that's it, Drag.
No. Is that it?
I have one thing to say about Matthew Bell. Matthew Bell, no one understands a word you say. There you go.
I'll tell him that. He'll take that as a compliment.
Cliff can actually sing. I'm shocked.
Oh, I'm pretty good at singing.
See if I can get MK in here.
You know, when I
Yeah.
first met Matt Bell, I thought he was Welsh and not Scottish.
Why?
Look,
Oh
I
my
have.
God.
Get
Get
MK in
MK.
here. I'd love to talk to MK.
Tell MK I said hi.
He can't be Welsh. He's got too many vowels in his name.
Wait, where's MK?
That's true.
Let me see if I can
Oh,
find him.
Look, if you get MK in here, just be prepared for a lot of, well, in my opinion.
Well, you know, MK just had a big speech about how he never watches anybody's content and never anybody's channel, and that was right before I started my hangout. He just went on and on about how he doesn't watch anybody, and it's just not what God's calling him to. He doesn't do other channels.
Oh, but if you look in his description, he has prominently posted 3 conspiracy YouTube channels that he encourages other people to watch.
He actually said that he's only seen 30 seconds of a G-Man video,
He's bet. Well, you know what? In that respect, he's better than all of us.
and then he
Nice.
formed an opinion.
There we go. Well, God told him what to think. So I wonder if that's the same God that told him to piss in the Gatorade.
It's the Lord of the Drink.
Oh, does
Not
Jeff,
in the tactical assault bottles.
Gus, did you know that MK created a group called Behavior, and everybody's bad behavior is getting put up on the board?
No. Great debate behavior.
I'm like post number 2 from the same thread as the first post that got on there.
I'm going to go find it. I am going to find it.
Kevin is
Wait.
post number 3, I think.
Scott,
guys-
what did you do to MK?
You need to screenshot it. It's hilarious.
Hold on,
Yeah.
let me screen share. I'm going to screen share.
I commented on the thread more or less just indicating that I was done with MK as well. And MK's like, do you want to have a hangout right now and talk about it? And I said, 1, MK, I'm at work right now, so no hangouts for me. 2, fuck off.
That was nicely put.
That apparently hurt your feelings.
No, you gotta get in there and you gotta steal his hangout. That's what he calls snipers now. He calls them hangout stealers.
So, check
What's
it.
interesting there, Scott Girton, is I saw a thread with you explaining programming to Rodney Mulroney.
Oh my
And
god.
You were not nearly that concise, and it's brutal. as you were to MK.
Yeah, no, I really tried. And like there was just like not even the basics. There was nothing to work with, and he thought he just had me hand over fist.
Sorry. Okay, so I'm trying to read this, but I read Sokka Kel's reply. So okay. Oh. Okay. All right. Scott, would you like to join a hangout and talk about our differences? ... You can say whatever you think I've done wrong, etc. Michael Klein,
I have to work. I have to work, so no hangouts for me. Fuck off. I don't know where that came from, but
So Sokka Cat replies later, he probably has a bag of this shit stored under his desk.
Wait, what?
Why is this funny?
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're failing at
Under the
reading it.
desktop.
Okay.
Down by the piss bottle.
Come
Let
on, it was
Gus
funnier the
do
way
it.
I sang it. You
Okay.
dick.
Let
Don't
Gus
horn
do
on
it.
my
Drag
song.
is broken.
Okay. Mike, okay, Sokka,
Oh my
would
God.
you like to
It's
join
your
me
own
in the
damn
hangout?
song.
Aw.
Ricky, old fucker.
Oh God, I'm crying. Sokka, would you like to join me in a hangout where you and I discuss our differences? Somebody else.
Nah, go eat shit, bro.
The question is, which of them is taking the piss?
Oh, my head hurts. Oh God. And Kevin goes, FY, you're starting to sound like a broken record, Laser Boy.
Okay, since Gus has been indisposed, Drag, can we play the video with Shanna going off on Steve, please? Because it's just so epic. It's beautiful.
Or
Gus,
just give me the link to it in the side chat if you don't want to hear it again. I mean,
play
It's
it.
pretty funny.
It's amazing. Just saying.
I got it. It's on the Mirrorbox. Yeah. Let me- Kevin, actually, Kevin, send me Mirrorbox with the link, the timestamp.
what's with all the heavy breathing, Drag? You're starting to sound like what's his face, sir.
I was crying. Like I don't know why that was so funny. I am
Because it's
legit
Sokka.
crying.
Okay.
I might have to join that community just to lurk and troll a bit.
I am not condoning or condemning any type of action. I'm just an innocent bystander whose name just gets thrown around because, well, reasons.
I'll just drop.
I'm trying to. I'm sorry. I got to look through a bunch of ASMR videos, lofi hip hop, and random other videos. I'll be a minute.
While
I
you're
love
searching,
lo-fi hip hop.
Oh, I
while
like
you're searching, I
ASMR.
gotta tell you, like there are few furious women speeches that are just that great, and Renee's got one of them, Annabelle's got one of them, and freaking Shanna Rocky / Maudie has one of them.
Can you put that in the side chat? I think I'm going to break my Lenten fast just to hear that.
Hold on. I will find it. And well, this is the one by Kevin.
Yeah, that's what's interesting is it's that Rev is the one that says eat shit in the first place. That's what's so fascinating about it all. If you can piss off Rev News, you are special.
You know, does anyone know what he did to Rev?
I don't know.
To start
It
it?
was, it was something specific. Yeah, MK said they were having a discussion, and they hit up on a topic that he was really sensitive about, supposedly. Like I'm just hearing it secondhand, but I'm not exactly sure what MK said to piss him off. But I was like,
is it the same with the video with Shani where it's like you're not a serious Christian or something like that?
you know what? I really wish I could tell you because I had mentioned it, but I'm like,
You know, that's actually funny because, like, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, Rev and Shani were showing up in MK's room like almost every night.
Yeah.
Well, they're
that's how it
an
works.
item.
So Rev is someone who I'm pretty mad at still, but I have fondness of him in the past before he really got weird.
I was about to say,
I don't know Rev well enough to be mad at him.
you should have been around. Well, you were around during the Nadia days, weren't you? I could have sworn you were.
I just started kind of testing the waters right as Nadia's room was hit peak crazy and then died.
And then the whole debate Coliseum bullshit.
It is true that Rev will give and give and give to people. And that, but it also is true that he drinks too much and he snaps, and it's frustrating.
But you know what? When he would snap and Nadia's hangout, that shit was funny. I'm sorry. Like I enjoyed the fuck out of that.
It was the weirdest thing because we'd be okay, and then he'd be like, yeah, and then it would just be a scream out of nowhere, and you're like, what happened? And I remember one time he made me drop my drink, I spilled it all over my keyboard.
It's almost as if he would forget that he was just screaming. It was really weird.
Okay, you need to
Has
play
anybody
it.
seen him lately? I haven't seen him in a dog's age. Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he's around.
I never see the guy.
Okay, in a relative sense.
I mean, he's doing better. I think him and Shani are supposed to be getting married or something, right?
Yeah, that's why I said relative sense.
Y'all didn't know
God
that?
save us all.
I don't think that's what's going on. Out of Shani's recent Facebook activity is any indicator.
Well, that's variable. Like I don't. That's it's Shani.
Like I said, if it's an indicator.
Yeah, like you can't even say it's not. You can't even say it is. But it's like, you know what? Just yeah.
So I will need you to play it. I don't have XSplit anymore.
You want me to? Okay, I'll play it. Hold on.
All right, Gus, you gotta watch this.
Hold on. It's actually Ringmaster's video. I forgot. Hold on, let me.
Oh no, not that one. I don't care about that one.
Well, it compiles the statement and it juxtaposes it.
It has it in it. It has it in there.
Yeah.
Active engagement we have. They don't have the name recognition we have. You say, "Oh, I'm from the philosophy of religion." People are like, "Who the fuck's that?" But you go and say, "Hey, I'm from the Great Debate Community." Anybody who knows a lot about these topics have heard of us. Be surprised. They don't know about us. We have name recognition. And they wanted me to give that name recognition over to Dragnaut. And I told them no. I told Maddie straight up, when I had my discussion with him, I know what I'm doing. I'm leading this the way I want. And you're not a member of the GDC, so I don't know why this is being pertinent to you. But I just, out of respect for Dragnaut, because Dragnaut wanted me to talk to Maddie. Well, lo and behold, I found out it's because they wanted me to eventually give control of the GDC to Dragnaut. And when that didn't happen, Dragnaut and Sam watched this whole brass tacks things to try to come up with a narrative to show me in depth to lead the GDC. Sam and Drag are banned from the GDC forever. Dragnaut was my friend who backstabbed me hard. He came up with a narrative with Sam that I had some kind of depression that I don't have. It's unacceptable. It's unexcusable. I have dealt with depression before, not myself, but through my brother and people I've gone out with. It's a very serious condition. And to malign somebody to say they have depression when they don't is a very serious offense. And I cannot excuse that because I don't have depression.
Anything that I'm about to say does not necessarily reflect the views or thoughts of Christopher Mowdy.
Do we need a lawyer to notarize
These
this
views
statement?
represent my thoughts and opinions, my personal take on this, and again, do not in any way reflect that of Christopher Mowdy or his channel. So, this stupid fucking cunt gets on his channel, all right? And he's like, me and Chris are a part of some weird, conspiracy to overtake his channel or his group. I don't know, what does he have? Does he have a community that has 1,000 people in it or some shit?
Yeah.
That I'm trying to siphon people away to get them to the philosophy of religion community that me and Chris are in charge of. So let me just put some actual data out here. I own the philosophy of religion community. It was given to me when it had about 9,000 members in it because the previous owner is a Buddhist, and he wanted to go focus on his Buddhism. I co-owned it for a while with another Zen Buddhist. He stepped down about 1.5 years ago. I made the rules, I made the platform, I set it up. I have a mod community set up on the side where the moderators and I do our job. It has 215,000 members in it. My participation is average for a Google Plus community. It's a highlighted Google Plus community. I do not make money off this community. I don't even really participate in this community. I just kind of moderate it. I just kind of keep track of it. I am not trying to siphon members away from whatever the fuck Steve has going on. I lose and gain his total subscriber base and community member base in a day. I lose 1,500, I gain 1,700. I lose 12, I gain 2. Like, I don't give two flying fucks how many people are in this community. I just care that they follow the fucking rules. That's it. I don't care. So, all that in mind, there is no conspiracy. I don't give two fucks about this guy or his community. Chris doesn't own this community either. I have much better things to do with my time than try and siphon away his 800 dumb fucking atheists that think they know philosophy. Like, what the fuck was he thinking? Like, you guys are trying to get the members to come to POR and then we're going to hand the community over to Drat. Like, dude, if you're going to get drunk and fucking rant, at least come up with something coherent that makes some fucking sense. And get off my fucking bra strap. Like, leave me the fuck alone. Nobody gives a fuck about you or your bitch-ass little community. Nobody cares. Off you go. Bye-bye.
Well, the other thing is, and maybe if he was to craft a coherent conspiracy, he would know I'm not a member of your community.
Right. Like, that's the thing that kills me. It's like, and Chris isn't even a member of the community. My co-owner is Oz. Oz is a placeholder for the community in case anything ever happens to my account. And then I have a POR account that's also the own. Like, most of these people aren't even in my community. Like, he didn't even do his research before he talked his shit, which is weird. It just makes him look stupid and desperate. Like, do you have to make so much noise around your own community to get people to hang out? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? This community's been highlighted by Google Plus for 5 fucking years. This is a long-standing giant as far as philosophy communities go with Google, and it will die out just like every other fucking community does. Like, it's okay. It's okay, Steve. Calm down. Jesus fucking Christ.
You just sound like you're bitter about me not being able to siphon people over.
I was going to say, that sounds exactly like what somebody who's pissed about not getting all the members siphoned from the GDC.
You guys
No,
can
it's
see
fucking
right
stupid.
through me. You guys can see
It's
right
fucking, like, to be honest, to echo, it's fucking stupid. The idea that I don't have his best interests in mind is just so laughably and provably false that he's just delusional. Like, I'm convinced that there's something mental going on. I'm not a professional.
Well, yeah, this is a weird level of paranoia, right?
I think that's about it, yeah.
That is one hell of a hot take.
Yeah.
Why the hell does Maudie ever talk? I just want to hear more of her.
Get off my bra strap. One of the best comments I've heard in a while.
I just hit track bike. Sorry about that.
Oh, thanks for that.
That was almost like almost a little cathartic.
It's beautiful.
He channels anger well.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. Like I said, like we were talking about like some of our hard things that we deal with, and anger's one for her. But sometimes it's just beautiful.
So is everybody up to date? Does everyone know what's going on? Yes, so we can move on.
Well, it's really a shame. Oh, there's Gus. He's back. I don't know if you saw any of that. That was actually for you.
I went and watched the video, and I was like, okay, so
you have questions, I'm sure.
Well, I sort of have a skeleton as to what happened, and one day Steve, whilst masturbating, he had a freak accident and it affected his mind, and he started to think that delusions of grandeur. And eventually they reach the point now where, you know, he seems to sit in some sort of self-appointed rulership of a community that isn't his, but he claims it is. And I've watched bits and pieces of different of his videos where he sort of makes a lot of claims about, you know, how good he be. And I just sort of think to myself, I mean, you know, he needs a sniper. So, you know, excuse me. Just kidding.
Yeah, you pretty much got it right there.
I mean, I've been at it. He did. You remember he lived with Lyrical Orion? Maybe she basically told him things that gave him delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, no, she showed him the abyss, and you know, when you stare at the abyss stares back at you and smells fishy.
You know, that's been an ongoing joke in an off-air hangout. That's why like all this happened. That's literally one of the going theories.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you can tell everything you need to know about Steve in that hangout where we clobber Lyrical and Steve just shrinks in the background because he's sticking his you know what in that.
Well, I get kind of mad if people are talking about Mrs. Drag. That's just me. But you know what? I have a spine. I mean, that might be why, but I don't know. I almost got arrested actually because some people were.
He got quiet. He let us clobber her, and then's like, well, now that that's settled.
Well, now that that's settled.
Yeah.
Y'all, I tried to be nice to that woman.
No, you haven't. Stop lying.
I did. I tried, and I couldn't figure out if she was stupid or mean.
Which woman are we talking about now?
The Abyss.
The Abyss.
Is that her new nickname?
A part of me is curious because she does get laid quite a bit supposedly. So I'm wondering if there is some truth to the tales. I don't want to find out.
I mean, there's probably truth to the tales if you used a bass fish too, but I mean,
it's true.
Do you really want to go noodling?
You must not read from the bass.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out what happened with Lyrical and a bass fish that I didn't hear about. I got it. I'm caught up. Never mind.
You ever seen a largemouth bass?
Electric dancing basses with the "Take Me to the River."
No,
Who
my
the heck
bad.
invented noodling? Who thought that was a good idea?
Redneck.
I know.
Does Cliff
Kevin
know what
just-
noodling is?
Huh?
I don't think they have that in Oh, good job, Kevin. I just read Skype. No, I don't think they have that in good old written land.
What are we talking about here?
Noodling for cat. You guys have catfish, but people usually fish for catfish with poles, right?
I'm not sure we have catfish here. I might be wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, people who do fishing, they have poles.
Okay. Have you seen people
unless
fishing
they're
with their
sticking
arm?
their arm down the throat of the catfish? Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Know.
Weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Then again, I don't know a lot about fishing. I mean, you know, I live near a canal.
Well,
Okay.
here's one
Cliff,
thing.
normally when somebody's fishing, they don't use their arm as bait.
Okay. Do you know that much at least?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Okay, so there's a certain group of people usually from a certain state, I'm not going to mention, that they figured it'd be a really good idea to fish with their arms.
Is this the same state that considers the noise people commonly refer to as Zydeco as music?
You can eat a dick.
Or is it Florida?
You can eat two dicks.
I'm not into baby food.
But anyway, since the catfish is an ambush predator, there are certain places where they really like to hide, especially the big ones. So if you put your arm down there and wiggle it around as a wounded fish, they're going to attack it. And so they'll engulf your entire arm. And so you can just wrench them up out of the water.
Okay. They obviously haven't got very big teeth, though.
No, they don't have teeth. They have they have pads. It feels like 150 grit sandpaper.
Right. Now, when you say it feels like, this suggests that you have knowledge of this.
I have a catfish in my freezer right now.
Yeah. And how did you catch
for
it? How did
I
you
fished for it.
Yeah, but did you use your arm or did you use the pole?
I use poles.
It's not big a catfish.
Just checking.
Yeah. I don't do the. I don't
The catfish these guys catch with their arm are just absolutely gigantic.
Yeah, you wouldn't actually eat them because they taste disgusting.
So they're generally disgusting animals.
No, they're not. Look, they're nature's garbage disposal.
Cliff, just type it into YouTube and you can watch it.
I wish I knew where my cat. Oh, it's on my dead computer. The catfish meme I made for you, Renee.
So
Oh
I
my
wasn't.
gosh, yes, because Godless told me I was a catfish.
And so I made you a catfish meme.
Oh, I forgot about that.
She's
Gus
like,
is
"Wait
a
a minute."
virgin. Gus is a
So,
virgin.
I didn't come in here earlier because I've been having microphone issues. Like both my USB mic, my webcam, and Jackie's mic weren't picking up audio. I spent the past two hours fucking around with the drivers and screwing up my computer trying to fix it, and then I just realized they were both muted in Audio Mixer.
Wow.
Ow.
Good job, Kevin.
So much for that computer science degree.
Too smart for your own good.
Oh, Kevin, don't get me started. Okay, there are people I work with that it's a marvel to me that they can have their job, because outside of
Yeah,
video,
I know.
they have no idea how a computer works.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's like that's about as far as they get. They can start it and they can open Visual Studio and usually email.
No, that's completely true. Like being a programmer doesn't mean you know shit. One of my professors at Iowa State is one of the most. He's an internationally recognized figure in the computer science community. So basically, the research, everything else, but no, he struggled to use email as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like what
my college professors were. They knew their subject.
Help us seal.
That's what happens after you hit it in the face with a bat. That's the face of a pug after you hit it in the face with a bat.
I'm not so much worried about the seal. It's what Kevin's doing to
Did
Jackie.
my seal picture break Jackie?
Nort.
Oh,
what the fuck was that, squirrel?
I oddly enough took a rather roundabout way into being a full-time developer. I went from computer engineering degree to working IT applications, so some development work, but a lot of support work, and then became a developer. So had a lot of time to walk other people through how to use their damn computer.
Nothing kills enthusiasm for IT more than support.
Well, that's where a lot of people start in the industry, working help desk at their college or wherever.
Thank God I was never help desk.
Is this a catfish?
Never had that. I was always an analyst.
Those are sharks. Those are definitely not catfish. They don't have the barbels on the front.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're
They're
catfish. No, they're catfish, Cliff. Just go swim with them. They
act themselves like catfish.
Catfish are quite well known by their catfish-like appendages on the front of their nose.
And their tendency to burst into etouffees.
Oh, God.
Rare occasion.
I wish I was in here earlier. I missed so much good shit.
Well, folks wanted to see the.
The fucking seal picture is moving. That's just what we need.
You could make a GIF. You should make a GIF where it like kind of vibrates back and forth, and the caption says "sealing intensifies." We can send it to Gary. You know, helper seal.
That's not a helper seal. That's different.
Does he get pissed when you guys talk about the helper seal?
No, you gotta understand. Like, Cliff or not Cliff.
Drag, the Skype group that I added you to today, that's Brian J's group. It goes back a couple years. Gary and some of the rest of us have been members of that group for a long time, and we gave Gary so much shit in there over like just him like having these autistic little fits where he'd like get all upset about something somebody said, and then the more upset he got, the like less carefully he would check his typing. And yeah, the helper seal argument, shut up. The helper seal argument was one of those. I still have the text chat of it if you want to read it. But the thing was, like, he went away, like, that group was inactive for quite a while, and he kind of went away, and then only recently started participating again, and now he actually thanks us for giving him so much shit. He's kind of learned not to take things as seriously on the internet anymore.
I think it's more he's learning not to take himself quite so seriously.
It's always good. It's always good. As much shit as I give people, I figure people would notice that I really don't take myself too fucking seriously.
And the thing with the helper seal is, basically what would happen is the more important the argument was, the more passionate he got about it, the more incomprehensible it became. And it would get to the point when he really started working up, it was like he was just sitting there slapping his hands against the keyboard.
Let me find that file for you. Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing in this community, but that little Kagito group specifically, and also the Shuffles, we don't give a shit about what people think of us, and we really don't like people that take themselves too goddamn seriously. Why do you think we're going after Steve?
But hold on. To be clear,
by the way, the opinions of the shuffle, don't necessarily mean the opinion of Moderate C Word.
Yeah, I was about to say the opinions of Shuffle don't necessarily reflect my opinion. We still love Gary. Just saying.
I'm not convinced of that.
Even though we give him a little bit of shit, we
talking about Gary?
Phony Beetle Maniacs.
Phony
Phony
Maniacs.
Maniacs.
Not the other person who was named that. No.
Okay, good. Yeah, I agree. Phony is cool. Cool dude.
But he's phony.
The Shuffle doesn't have opinions. It's the people in the Shuffle that have opinions.
And even them are not necessarily voicing them. It's a matter of whether it's funny or not.
So you're admitting that the Shuffles are a hub for the Cabal.
It's a hub for a bunch of jerks to get in there and be obnoxious, yeah.
I mean,
oh wait, that's not agreeing at all.
But hey, I was encouraging Jordy to go vandalize Steve's wiki page. Huh?
Sorry. Go ahead.
You know this is going to be mined for more fucking conspiracy fodder,
right? Grist for the
McRae
that's
mail. What the C is for moderate conspiracy.
Oh, that's what that meant. Okay, I thought it meant cunt. I mean, it meant
moderate cunt word.
By the way, people keep asking why the channel is called that. Well, anti-theists would hurl insults at theists like myself.
Yeah,
like Nate Cunningham and Maximus Confesses, and they'd call us moderate C words. But you know, the British don't shy away from that word, and so because they did that, I thought it would be funny to just wear the title. Now, C word can also be Christian, C word could be Canadian, C word could be Californian, C word could be Connecticut, or
oh no, that's dirty. I've been to Connecticut.
Whoa,
I'm glad you spelled it out for us because I think
Cliff, send me that shit. Send me that. I need that.
It's weird to have Matthew Bell on there because he is not a moderate cunt. He is a monumental one.
Actually, I need that picture, Cliff.
Okay.
It's actually really hard to find. It's really hard to find moderate Christians that are willing to put up with extreme fundies or anti-theists. Like most of them will walk away and just go on with their lives.
Most of them are smart.
Actually, do you mind if I bring something up for a moment, just for the heck of it? We were actually talking, a bunch of us that are involved in Shuffles and this kind. Oh, never mind that.
No, go ahead.
A number of us that are involved with Shuffles and in this little Skype group that we have, which has on many occasions called our secret cabal, have been plotting. And what we've been considering doing is actually doing, you know how we have things like the the Fody Awards, and now there's the Ronnies, and back in the day there were things like the Cock and all these. We're considering doing an award ceremony of our own, a la Shuffles.
The Golden Gorilla.
Now, the Golden Gorilla Award is what we're talking about calling it right now in honor of Inventor Gorilla, of all people, who, funny enough, would not be eligible for the award because he's a well-professed troll and kind of a pain in the butt. But the Golden Gorilla Award would be for a Christian that is always the proverbial gorilla in the room, because they must be exempted from almost all criticisms of Christians, because much like back in the day when Gandhi said, I like your Christ, but I don't like Christians, they're not like your Christ. These are the exceptions. They are the Christians that are able to be somewhat Christ-like. So basically, the people that can get along and actually be good examples of what a Christian is, thus screwing almost every atheist dialogue in the process.
Exactly.
Go fuck yourself and your award. Oh, wait a minute.
Drag, I sent you a little present on Skype, Drag.
Because I'm willing to say the cunt word and you're willing to say fuck. I think we're now off of the list with many of the fundies. We're in trouble now. We're banned anyway.
The fundies could never get this because they're jerks. They're people that, whenever people are criticizing Christians, they're exactly the ones we're talking about. We're talking about basically giving an award and honorary mention, of course, to people that are eligible for it, for the people that can actually bridge that gap between believers and non-believers, the people we can actually have a conversation with without it descending into stupidity or lunacy.
Well, that's just arbitrary.
All I ask myself is, with friends like these, and I'll let you fill in the rest.
So I don't know. I think it'd be nice to kind of sit there and acknowledge the Christians on here that are actually reasonable people for a change.
Yeah, there's a few, like Jim and Max and stuff, and it's so bad that, well, I mean, I guess, it's not bad because this place can be this weird addiction that people get sucked into. And I think a lot of the moderates just do life outside of this a lot. It just happens to be that way.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think it's a good idea to actually acknowledge that there are Christians that are worth spending time talking with?
So, hold on. What you're saying, Deidre, is it's not healthy to make your entire life the great debate community your entire life. That's probably not healthy, is it?
No. So if you want to get married or maintain a marriage, or if you want
Thank
to
you.
have a job, like a job, if this was your life, this would be, kind of a rough way to do it.
Hold on. What if your spouse happens to be also a part of the Great Debate community?
Well, what if the Great Debate community is your spouse or is your job? I'm just saying. I'm not naming anyone specifically, but I'm just saying.
Well, that's what Mrs. Dragon said about me. She said, "This is my second wife. All you guys, every one of you, even the ones with the penises." No,
my wife's laughing at me over that one. Sorry.
Excuse me.
She agrees. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Honestly, your shit posting in the chat makes me happy.
So I don't know what you guys talking about.
RSV, he cracks me up.
Trying to actually do stuff productive in life and have a social life here.
I was trying to get a couple opinions on an award ceremony I'm thinking of, but I'm not getting any here. It's a good idea.
I would be honored to receive anything in IG's name.
Cool.
I actually like the idea. I think it's a very good one.
I mean, the thing is, we get in all these ridiculous arguments, and we always sit there and give these awards to the, well, frankly, the retards in the community. And it'd be nice to acknowledge the people that we like having around for once.
It's gonna be a short pool of people, a real small pool of people.
We came up with about a dozen. Of course, we might have to disqualify Jade because she never answers Skype.
Okay, so there's maybe 15 people, and this, on a good day, there's like 138 people watching Talking Shit Tuesday. 15 out of those potential 138 are going to be eligible for this award.
Yeah, pretty much. It's that.
You know, my
Goddamn.
Skype was not working for so long that I kind of forgot about it. I couldn't get it to work. It was just really frustrating. But I'm on a different computer and I have it now. I just have to remember that it works now.
That's because it's made by Microshaft.
Yeah, probably. There is a question I'd like to
Oh,
ask.
you mean macro hard?
Yeah.
What?
Did anyone see G-Man's Hangout tonight? Listen to it.
Why would anyone do that?
I heard the part of it where he reads off a bit of my text message that I sent him.
In it
Jade,
twice.
there's better ways to become terminally ill that are a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
that's
working
true,
on
nonetheless.
PowerPoints, so I only half listen. As a matter of fact, because of something Drag mentioned, I'm now working on PowerPoints for redox equations.
You're going to spend an entire time on that. I'll tell you right now.
Working on redox. It's gonna be
Anyway,
more than one video.
you mentioned the unspeakable. What was the point?
Okay. This is the twice, and while I was doing other stuff, I was actually listening to him and listening to you at the same time. Because he mentioned twice something about how awful atheists are because they won't even criticize another atheist for molesting a child, a girl, I think it is. And I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Does anybody know what he's talking about?
Wait, so he said that atheists wouldn't criticize an atheist girl?
No, that atheists would not criticize, and atheists are bad people because they won't even, and I assume he means atheists in this, loose community, because they don't even criticize another atheist for molesting a child.
Who the fuck is he talking about?
Okay, so nobody here knows.
I don't mean the atheists. I mean the who did what the what?
What child? I don't know what he's talking about.
There's a couple of people in jail for such things, but I don't think he's smart enough to know who.
Well, I've never heard him bring this up before tonight. So I thought maybe it was something new that I didn't know about because I've been out doing yard work as well. And sometimes when I'm on the computer, as I said, I'm working on PowerPoints or doing other stuff and I'm not, listening 100%. But he twice brought this.
He could have read a news article about something from 3 years ago and decided that it has to do with just this. There is no telling.
Well, what I'm looking for is his exact words, and I'm going to take the and I'm going to do a transcript of his exact words both times, and then I'm going to do a post, and I'm going to link flag him on the post and say, what on earth are you talking about here? Because this is a terrible thing to bring up, to accuse atheists of being bad people because they wouldn't criticize a child molester.
Okay, now I'm just going to throw something out there. Now we have been having a problem with people in varied churches being discovered to be child molesters or whatever, things along these lines. And of course, we would be more than happy to criticize them for this because we certainly condemn such activities. If we found out an atheist was doing the same, it should be a fucking given that we would criticize them for it. What the hell is he talking about?
I have no idea.
He's probably starting another school, man.
Yeah. He also, by the way, in this hangout, you just kind of want to face palm with the G-Man. He also was asking people to see if they could verify that the guy who did the shootings in Florida was an atheist, because he wants to know that, because he wants to show how, you know what I mean.
He was a right-winger, from what I understand. Alt-right, sorry, not right-wing, alt-right.
Yeah.
It honestly doesn't matter because even if we found out that the guy was a Christian, female will just say, oh, but he wasn't really a Christian.
I pointed out in the live chat, it doesn't make any difference what he was from his history. And by the way, that business about him being a right-winger is a little bit questionable. We got to wait and see, because it looks like somebody may have jumped the gun on that one, or somebody was trying to claim him for their own purposes. But
all I know on that is that a lot of people were going around with all kinds of weirdo claims about it. The last I heard is that it turned out that he was associated with some alt-right group. I don't know beyond that.
That
Before
came
we
from the
start
alt-right group,
shooting.
and that's why it's questionable because the guy has now retracted it.
I mean,
Or at least that's what I've heard. There's so much bullshit when this stuff goes on. So, but it doesn't make any difference who he was. I mean, he could have been a Catholic, you know. It would people go crazy like that. He does have a history of mental illness. We know that.
He could have been a
It doesn't make
bobsled.
any
It
difference who
doesn't
they
fucking
are.
matter.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But of course, G-Man wants him to be an atheist, so he thinks he's an atheist, but that's just G-Man. But the child molester thing really threw me because
He's texting me right
how
now, Jake.
dare you? Okay, good.
So it seems, just based on these few text messages, that it was just hyperbole.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and so I'm asking him specifically, does he know of an instance when we've defended somebody that we knew was a child molester? So I'm waiting on that response. So yeah, he just fabricated this.
It didn't sound like it. You know, he doesn't understand what hyperbole is.
That's not hyperbole. That's douchery.
No, I'm reading between the lines with his responses, but it's something basically he just made up this scenario just so it would sound okay. The point of the statement was to show PZ was wrong and none of you would call him out. So he just picked child molester as an example of us defending someone no matter what.
Wow.
How vile is that?
And
wow.
PZ, like PZ Myers?
Yeah, I'm reading his response. So basically, a long story short, the comment he made about atheists defending a child molester isn't based off anything that he actually knows of. He was just making a point that we would defend someone basically like to the death, but instead of to the death, he replaced it with child molester.
Okay, I'm gonna break in here for a moment. Jade, you've been around here in this community for fucking ever. Do you remember when PZ started censoring around the time of Atheism Plus?
Yes.
Care for some story time?
Do it.
I'm hoping you remember it better than I do.
I don't remember it very well, but it might. You know, my memory.
I have
click,
things I could say, but really,
no, if this is about a certain person allegedly molesting another person in a hotel room,
yeah,
okay,
and it was the whole elevator gate bullshit.
Person was. Well, this was beyond elevator gate. This was a different situation. Okay. Apparently, there were a group of people at an atheist conference, and they were hanging out in a hotel room, and people were drinking. And there was a woman there, and she was like sitting on a bed, I think, and there was another atheist there.
Was this something publicly said?
This is something that's been publicly stated, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and some very nasty things were said about people.
Yeah, but this isn't actually the PZ Myers one. PZ Myers, around the time that this whole thing happened, PZ Myers started kind of getting on top of the Atheism Plus thing, no pun intended, and going insane with making sure that anyone criticizing women would be booted off of the site. And he got massive criticism for that from the atheist community because no one was allowed to basically voice an opinion that was at all critical of any women. And this was around the time of Elevator Gate, for example, in which somebody sat there and tried to basically flirt and hit somebody up to get them to come back to their room.
Rebecca Watson.
Really awkward and clumsy, and it was blown into this big thing. Oh, it was just ridiculous.
But there was this other situation, and I know who the person was.
This other one, yeah.
And we all know who it was. I mean, well, maybe we don't. No, at least I'm pretty sure I know who it was.
I'm pretty sure we all know who. I'm pretty sure I know who Jim Bob is too.
I think this is who it is, isn't it?
No, I
thought you were referring to the person whose name sounds like Thunderfoot.
Oh no, that was a different. No.
Oh, I thought you were talking the healthy addict thing. Never mind.
No. Thunderfoot came to the defense of this other person and got wound up in it. But no, there were accusations against Thunderfoot too. So there were a bunch of accusations about women being not necessarily molested, but treated poorly somewhere between treated poorly and molested by people at some atheist conferences. And my understanding is it had a lot to do with alcohol. So you got some drunk guys being clumsy and being kind of handsy and
Okay,
women objecting to that. And in one particular case, apparently it did rise to the level of a person being, someone like reaching over and,
There's a little coughing, we'll just say.
Yeah, there was, play a rather serious grab ass, yeah. But this all became a big thing and a big split in the atheist community, or at least allegedly a big split in the atheist community. I have no idea if it really was, because sometimes these things are.
No,
it
led to a schism. It led to a huge.
Well, yes, but
schism.
But the
thing is,
schism
you
was
never
between
know-
the people. The schism was
Yeah,
between the
atheism
people that were
was.
trying to co-opt the entire movement for their own purpose, for the sake of promoting radical feminism, and the people that are like, "What the fuck's going on here?" Because most people didn't even know really what had happened.
Right. And what I say that there was a big split. The point is, all we really see is a score of people or so who were involved in this. So I have
Michael Shermer.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know if that was the incident you're talking about, but that was another incident that PZ Myers got involved with, because he was actually sued.
Yes. And so there were, and PZ actually mentioned names on his blog, something he shouldn't have done, made accusations against people. Women.
But regardless, the people that were involved in these activities were all condemned. The people that are involved in censoring it to make sure that the story couldn't be talked about were gone after. We also went after the people that were trying to co-opt it to turn the entire atheist dialogue to be about feminism.
Right.
All
So
the
there
people
was
that were with their fucking MOs, we went after every fucking one of them. So G-Man needs to fuck himself on this one, seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, G-Man's the one
yeah,
that's
you're right.
all this shit up? Really?
No.
Oh.
In a way, only in a way. He's basically claiming that even if we found out that like an atheist was a child molester or something, that we defend them, and that's clearly wrong based just on the history in our own community.
Yes, exactly.
G-Man just stumbled into it on accident, and then everyone's saying the closest thing that it could resemble would be back to the atheism plus crap.
But Richard Carrier, I mean, I remember when that blew up, and people have been like, who did he just debate recently?
He was on God King Steve's channel recently.
Yeah. No, but Carrier just debated I want to say.
I don't know who he
recently.
debated.
Yeah, he did. I don't remember who.
I think it was William Lane Craig.
William Lane Craig, and actually Serb posted that he thought, you know who Serb is?
Yeah.
He thought that William Lane Craig dusted him.
I haven't seen it yet. I was trying to figure out what Epi was talking about when I was talking with him yesterday. He's mentioned that Craig whooped the crap out of him, and I'm like, okay, I haven't seen it, but okay, now I know.
It's Richard Carrier.
Now, Richard, let me just say this. Richard Carrier, by his own words, is a pretty kinky dude. And I'm sure there are some people who judge him because of that, because we live in he's pretty kinky, that's putting it mildly. But, and I'm sure there are some people who judge him for that and maybe make assumptions because of that.
Yeah, he was one of the main people who came out backing the Atheism Plus thing years ago, and he made a now infamous speech at one of these skeptic conferences, basically saying, if you're not with us, I don't consider you a part of the atheist community, or something like that. And then he had to walk back from that.
I thought that was part of I thought that was also part of the Skepticon stuff.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Skepticon stuff were some of the first atheist meetups of this kind of level, but yeah.
Right.
But the whole point here, I think, is that atheists don't just sit quiet when stuff happens.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
That's the point. There was a lot of criticism of people in a lot of different directions, a lot of different. I love PZ when he's talking about biology, and I am a feminist, but I'm not real happy with him when he's talking about feminism, because he's taking a radical approach that doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, I've been following PZ shenanigans for years, and if anyone wants to know a little bit more about what I think of PZ, I'd be happy to talk to you offline. But it's a minefield.
For
It's
like
a
a long
fucking
time, I didn't
minefield.
know he was. I knew Carrier before PZ, and
Well, PZ used to
I
be a
knew
pretty respect.
I knew
He used to be a
David
big
Smalley
figure.
before that.
Kevin, let her finish, please.
I knew
Oh,
David
sorry.
Smalley and Aaron Raw before him.
Well, when I think Jim tried to say something and I may have cut him off, I don't know. Me and my lousy hearing, I'm not sure. Jim, were you trying to say something?
No, it might have just been background.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I didn't cut you out. I cut you off. Well, whatever.
Was it?
But yeah.
Wasn't who's the PC guy that everybody likes to attack?
Which
Steve Sives?
Yeah, was it him?
Oh God, no.
No.
You're better off not knowing.
He jumped on.
No,
He
not-
jumped
not-
on.
not
No,
as
no,
in-
no. Shives jumped on the bandwagon after Atheism Plus kind of became a joke.
Okay.
That's because his
like
wife holds him
2014.
hostage.
Yeah. Which is really bad timing.
Yeah, it just so happened he
Oh, look! The sickest shit. Oh, look! The ship is sinking. I must get on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, people were already joking about him, and then that I don't know how many people actually caught that video with him and I guess his girlfriend at the time, where he was doing an interview. Well, she was interviewing him, and then she started criticizing him because he didn't have enough female authors, and then she started saying a lot of the things.
He's like, I was looking at your bookshelf, and you have too many white male authored books. You should get rid of some of those.
You could tell, like, because he had been given. Go ahead.
I'm a feminist, and I have some pretty, strong feminist credentials going back 40 years. And I was one of my majors in college. I was a double major of English literature and biology. And guess what? The history of literature was mostly Western literature is mostly written by white males. That's just the way it is. If you want to study literature, you're going to study Shakespeare. You're going to study Chaucer. You're going to study Milton. You're going to study Dickens. And over here, you're going to study. Mine just went sideways, but you get my point.
But if you want to lend criticism to some of the early great names in authors, and you want to talk about how it was in some ways anti-women, then you have to talk about the women that were authors back in that time period that had to write under male names. It was a thing for a while.
And they did. Look at George Eliot. Look at George Eliot, for example, who was a woman. Look at again, my mind is going. There are a number of very famous, or at least famous for their time, women science fiction authors, C.L. Moore, who used her initials, or James Tiptree Jr., who was actually was it Anne Sheldon? She also went under Raccoona Sheldon. Who, and they used to say one of the funny things was how authentic they thought James Tiptree Jr.'s scenes were, especially the military scenes. Well, apparently they didn't know that Anne Sheldon had been in the army. But women in that day, this is what's so-called the golden age of science fiction, had to write under a pseudonym, or like Andre Norton, nobody knew if that person was male or female. And yes, that happened. And going back in history, that happened. What's her name? The very famous lesbian author.
Now, the interesting thing is...
Well of Loneliness? The Well of Loneliness?
Someone hijack this conversation.
Well, let me sneak in here for 1 second, Jade, before we go any further down that rabbit hole.
Done, but go ahead.
The thing is, cultural paradigms do change. Right now, if you want to try to get published, you actually have a very much higher chance of getting published if you're female. That pendulum is switching to the other side. It has been for a bit of a while.
And that's just the way things are.
Yeah.
Radcliffe Hall.
Radcliffe Hall. Yeah. Well, Radcliffe Hall was a very famous writer during her time, but she also wrote under a male pseudonym. By the way, her books that she wrote back then were pulp and not very good, but they were very, very popular. It's kind of like some of the stuff today that, people forget about years later. But yeah, so what? Big deal. I mean, I've got Hemingway. I've got I've got Steinbeck. I love Steinbeck.
Lots and lots of books.
Steinbeck. Yeah, so what?
I'm
sitting here looking at Terry Pratchett right now. What? I should not have Terry Pratchett because he's a guy?
Oh, okay, Alice, step away from the table for a moment.
Yes.
Thomas
I know.
Hardy.
Otherwise, it's going to be 2 hours on that. But yeah, I know
Oh,
that's
yeah,
something
books.
you're passionate about because you love books. I know that.
I love books. Yeah, I love books.
But the point is that, we do have these pendulums that switch over the course of time, and this whole thing of there's not enough women on your shelf. Well, in terms of a time period, any given time period, who's writing most of the books?
Yeah, I was in
Exactly.
Steve McLaughlin. Steve Shy is
Yeah,
basically a lit guy. He has a degree in English literature.
Well, and the one last thing I'd like to
fuck
say,
off, bitch. I'll read what I want.
Yeah. When starting in the 70s with the second wave feminism, which I was very involved in, a lot of women started writing books. They started writing a lot of books, and most of them were crap. I'm sorry, it's true. Most early feminist literature sucks because they hadn't found there were too many
Voice.
people writing junk and getting it published because they were women.
Yeah. And right now we have that with people that are part of the LGBT community. If you're LGBT and write a book, you're getting published. It doesn't matter whether it's any good or not.
And early LGBT literature was also mostly crap. Trust me, I read it. Again, it's the
Reminds
same
me
thing.
of that YouTube tweet that went out the other day on Valentine's Day. Did any of you see that?
Which one?
Roses are red, violets are blue. Subscribe to more black content creators.
Yeah.
What?
Yay!
Did y'all see that? It's on,
Fuck off.
it's on Netflix, and it's called like Double X or whatever. And it's the deal behind it. It was supposed to be a project of horror movies, like shorts that were written all by women, and it's awful. They're so bad the way it was put together and what they chose and stuff. And I don't know if it was slim pickings or what the deal was. But
One of the things
people have been fighting back and forth with it. Well, you're saying that it's awful because it was this feminist project and it's all these women that put it together. No, it's awful because it's awful.
Yeah.
Second wave feminism started 40 years ago. We've had 40 years to learn how to write.
I hope no one's looking to find any black short horror movies, because there's one that came out recently called, I think it's something wrong with the Johnsons or something like that. Don't watch that. I'm telling you right now. If anyone tricks you into watching something on YouTube with the Johnsons in the title, do not watch it.
One thing that frustrated me, I'm going to go political for 1 second here, and then I'm going to back away from it, if you don't mind. One thing that frustrated me about watching Hillary's last campaign is that there are so many women coming forward, like, you should vote for her just because she's a woman. And I'm thinking, well, what if she turns out that she's not a good president and she's the first woman president? How does that bode for future women presidents?
You're a misogynist.
And it's one reason, as much as I hate Trump, I'm actually glad Hillary didn't win, because I think it would have been a clusterfuck of a different kind.
Yeah. Speaking of
but
horror,
I would. Okay, go ahead.
Speaking of horror, yes.
Any of you guys got
Speaking of horror.
Netflix? Check out The Ritual if you haven't already.
I saw that on there, but I'm too busy watching.
I've watched part of it. What did you think?
I got a thing for like and it's this new wave of like this low budget, less is more horror film, right? Where they don't put a lot of money into it. No, splashy effects. No, they work more on like this growing sense of dread and rather than a bunch of jump scares. And just like the Babadook, I thought it was really well done, like very understated, but very, very well done. I highly recommend it.
Well, I liked what I saw, but unfortunately I became sleepy and fell asleep, so I have to finish watching it.
I actually fell asleep as well. I don't know. Maybe it's just an old people thing.
Drake, why should I not watch this thing?
Because you actually see some scenes of exactly what you're reading about, and no.
Oh, ew.
Yeah, it actually shows scenes. Yeah. Well, it's simulated for the most part, but still.
Okay, so
lovely.
I do have to wrap this up for the night. I don't know if anyone feels something up to do something a little bit later, but my husband wants to go to bed, and I live in 200 square feet in a tiny house, quote unquote.
Oh, I know that feeling.
And yeah, it literally is 200 square feet. So I have a Murphy bed and everything. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
The sun's coming up. I should probably sneak off.
But thanks for showing
Oh,
up.
you're over there.
Anybody
Over
have any
there.
final words that you want to share?
Let the host finish, please, uninterrupted.
Anybody have any final words that they want to share?
No, I just want to interrupt you.
Just please like me, please. I just want to be friends with everyone. It's okay.
Wait, do you say I'm like that?
No.
No, I'm just I can't do lyrical
Yes,
voice very well.
I'm hashtag blocked by the other Steve. That's all.
Yeah,
No,
don't go.
I'm also blocked.
I'm going to go watch what you call them on Netflix, Overlord, the anime, and I'm going to go finish watching the first season of Altered Carbon.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Enjoy.
I do want to say, anybody who blocks Jackie or says that Jackie's part of the KKK or or anything else, you're a special piece of work. So
Hey, Jackie's not a boy.
Let's just
Jackie's not a
acknowledge that
boy.
Jackie is everyone's little sister.
Exactly.
That's
And-
true.
And it ticks me off because when G-Man did the thing, and then the stupid Eric Peters did a thing, and he's just a dick all the time to everybody. And freaking who else was a dick? Oh, Steve McRae. Look, Steve, man, if you can't get along with Jackie, and you're hopeless, man. I'm sorry.
Don't fuck with Jackie, otherwise you're kicking the hornet's nest.
Dude.
Dicks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
And on
did he?
that-
I
Yes.
really appreciate all of your guys' friendship and love and support, and I love all of you.
Where was Jackie blocked?
Being a dick to Jackie's like punching a puppy.
Being a dick to Jackie is like
No.
punching someone's little sister.
Yeah.
Jackie is not an actual puppy. I'm saying that if you did that, that's the kind of
Jackie's not a puppy. Oh, wait,
And all this time, I thought being a dick to Jackie was just like being Kevin.
Sokka, I'm about ready to go off the air. Does Sokka have something to say?
Other than Puppet Lives Matter.
He muted.
Sokka, this was very non-eventful here.
Oh, sorry. Dick's out for Harambe.
Alright, I'm going off
Oh
air.
my god.
But we will have
It's
probably
Obama's
no friends by
fault.
tomorrow.
Wait! Before you go off air, I have one more. I have one thing to say. Do you know the way?
We didn't have Jordy here for that. You know the way.
Queen!
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Alright, you too. Have fun storming the castle.
Whee!
Yeah.